Welcome back to Thinking Critical Comic Books Podcast. We've got a great show for you today on the Comics Aficionados, the best damn comic book podcast and YouTube show that you could ever see. We've got a veritable spectacular, although not all that much happened in the comic book industry. Mostly it was major releases as far as the comic industry. We had ASM 74, the end of Nick Spencer's run. We had Inferno #1. What do we else? ScarJo Settled with Marvel. So we've got a few things to talk about. And obviously, we have a great panel. We've got award-winning editor and a pretty damn good comic book writer in his own right, Joe Corallo, with us. How you doing, Joseph?
I'm all right, Wes. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, do I have this right? Was it this week or last week is actually the fifth and final episode, at least of the first arc of Beckstar?
This past week. So
okay, it was this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's so confusing depending on where I go. I get different release dates.
That unfortunately, that seems to be the case with all of the like smaller publishers. There's like a 2-week window usually.
There's just
for a lot of people.
Yul, how did Beckstar go? Did you sell out of that bad boy?
Oh, I don't know if I sold out, but I have issues to complement the other ones that are in stock also. It's an excellent issue, by the way.
Thank you.
I guess we're doing the end of the show first, so I'll say Beckstar was my pick of the week.
Damn. No, I just went, Joe's got a comic book out this week. And this will be the part of the show that most people see. So I want to get the word out that if you want to support Joe Corallo, who's not only a fantastic editor, a friend of the channel, but a damn good comic book writer. He's got Beckstar #5, which hopefully, if it does well, we get some more Beckstar in the future.
That'd be
All
great.
right, who else we got here? Skip, you're writing a comic book. You and Jimmy, how you doing, Skip?
I'm doing pretty good. It's early, so Skip is still waking up. I don't know if Skip's fully here, but yeah, writing a comic book, which let me tell you, not as easy to find an artist as some people might think. They're not just like jumping at your feet. Doesn't work out like that. Get yourself like Joe. Find yourself a Liana Congus and work it out, man. Because goodness gracious, it is tough. But other than that, things have been going well. I've been reading a lot of great comic books. I'm happy to be here amongst such esteemed colleagues. Really, a bunch of rascals. I don't know why y'all watch us.
Rascals.
You're here now, so might as well enjoy the show.
Rapscallions, even.
Whoa.
Dang, Skip. So, I was. There's a comic on Webtoon. It's all stick figures. There's, if you want to put it on Webtoon, you could probably go that route. You wouldn't even need an artist. You can stick figure it up, right?
I want people to read my comic, not run away from my comic. So I don't even think you want me drawing stick figures. You don't want me signing my own signature, my handwriting, anything of my hands with lines or paper or anything like that. Hideous. Do not collect $200. Right.
We've also got our retail expert, also the heel of Thinking Critical, Yul Carter. Yul, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to talking.
Absolutely. We got a couple of retail issues we need to speak to you about.
All right.
You got anything going? You got any big sales, on your e-commerce or anything you want to talk about?
No. Actually, my last episode of Fantastic Comics on YouTube, Fantastic Comics, I had Joe on. And if you want, my thoughts on Beckstar #5 fully, I think we get into it enough to where you can, if you haven't read it, I think it would be a good little interview to listen to.
Nice. Lane Kramer says, has anyone seen Venom Let There Be Carnage? I know Joe has.
In a movie theater and everything.
He might be
like a madman
on that one. Who else we got? We got the man behind Animated Concepts, friend of the channel, the person that likes to get complicated with me. How you doing, Gervais?
Stick figures. That's a thought. I'm doing good, Wes. How about you?
Now that's an animated concept.
That guy crowdfunded his comic book when he collected it at like $2.5 million. So you can laugh at his stick figures all you want. He made some bank on that one, but it took him 11 years to do it.
I'm not laughing at the stick figures. I'm just saying it's going to have the effect of the Blair Witch stick figures if I draw them. That's all I'm saying.
Bundle those up.
We've got Cal Wiles says, I'll call you Gervais Dr. Hibbert because you chuckle a lot.
Oh, I ain't seen a Hibberto on Simpsons in years, and that's a good one though.
Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And last but not least is the man who's been here since day one, the co-host of the Aficionados. Doc, how you doing, buddy?
I am spectacular.
You got anything big to talk about? You got a new video dropping on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, all the time. I'm always dropping videos on my YouTube channel. No, I have nothing.
Did you doing any
I mean,
interesting gardening?
no. My
There you go.
week has been really fucking boring, and it's wonderful.
Wait a sec, you're building something, aren't you?
I am. I'm working. My roommate makes jewelry, and so I'm building her a jewelry making table, which is apparently different than a normal table. And I learned this when she asked me, "Can you build me a jewelry making table?" And then sent me pictures of what a jewelry making table is supposed to look like. But it's basically a table with some stuff cut out. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I had to.
There's a YouTube tutorial on it, Doc. I guarantee it.
Oh, probably. But yeah, I'm just kind of designing it and making it as I go.
There you go. So if you want a custom-made jewelry table, reach out to Doc. He has experience, and might even do it for free or cost materials. Who knows?
For
Yeah.
exposure.
Kenneth
Yeah.
Dowling
Oh,
here.
sure.
Happy morning, fellas. Great to see you all today. Call me Kenneth Cash Money Millionaire Dowling, like the rap group with Lil Wayne and Juvenile. Always throwing cash in support of Thinking Critical. Well, thank you very much. We definitely appreciate you supporting the channel. And if you are not able to throw around the cash like Kenneth Dowling, you can always go and give us a thumbs up and let everyone else know that we're having a great time here, having a good conversation. This thing will last about 2 hours. We're gonna have some laughs. We're gonna cry. We'll go the whole range of emotions here on the Thinking Critical with the Comics Aficionados. But thank you very much, Kenneth Dowling, and everyone that gives us the thumbs up and a like on the video. So I think we're done with the introduction. Let's get right into this bad boy. We've been building up to this for about 3 years. We finally got the conclusion of Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man at issue number 74. Obviously premature. He is going off to Substack for greener pastures with one of those nice deals that they gave out for some of their exclusive creators. Now, Joe, I know you're a big Spider-Man fan. We are all interested, and it felt like he was going to retcon or undo One More Day Out of Existence. Last issue ended up being Sins Past. He doesn't quite do that with One More Day here, and it felt like, at least to me, that he ended up closing a bunch of storylines that he didn't actually start. What were your feelings on ASM 74?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy for Sins Past to be retconned. I feel like that's probably worth it alone. That said, I feel like there was a lot of momentum and build up to it being bigger than it was. So it's weird to both be happy and disappointed in a way, but like that's kind of where I was. And yeah, there were multiple pages. Like it wasn't too bad, but there were multiple pages where it was jarring, the difference in the art, and I was like, whoa, okay, what's happening? Where it felt like I'm like, is this a page from an old issue that they like slapped in because like it looks that way, because this doesn't fit with what's happening? So there were some bits like that, but like I mean, overall, even if all they did was print a comic that you opened up and it just said Sins Past has been retconned, it would have been worth it. So
I don't know, what were your thoughts? I know obviously you're a retailer. You probably got the pulse of the buying audience out there. What was the response to ASM 74?
$10.
Yeah. I know that was Jermaine's response. He's like, I ain't reading that shit.
You're damn
I
straight.
don't believe it.
That's right.
I know. Yeah, that's the first thing I think when I see anything over anything over $3. I'm like, Jermaine's not going to buy this. How am I going to get? It's all heavy metal for you all the time, man.
That's right.
They do $2.99 books. So people buy Spider-Man like they always do. And a $10 book really wasn't that big a deal. I'm just joking. I haven't really talked to anybody until like really next week when it comes to that. But I agree with Joe. It felt like, yes, something really horrible from the past was retconned and taken care of. Not the one most people thought was going to happen. And it's opportunity missed. Listening to your show or your video with Doc talking about, maybe possibly, there could or could not have been editorial interference. I also think ever since he announced that he was going to Substack, Nick Spencer was like, "Yeah, out of here." Marvel's like that with him, and it's so weird that Nick Spencer was the guy that was paving the floor for everybody to walk over to Substack on. He's not the guy I would normally think, would have thought to do that. But greener pastures and all that. It feels like the story wasn't fully finished, and there was a lot of convolution in the whole of the story, way back from the beginning. And I would have rather just seen the sins past just been ignored altogether, and then deal with the one more day.
Yeah.
If that's what they were going to do.
Yeah,
Done.
because there's specifically a moment where Doctor Strange confronts Mephisto, quite a while back after issue 50, where he says, "What did you do to Peter Parker's soul?"
Mm-hmm.
And this is all about Harry Osborn's soul. What happened to that?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
The answer to question that never got asked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they ignored the question that did get asked.
Killing Peter Parker over and over, and apparently MJ was going to be the key to it all, and all these things. It ended up, it wasn't about Peter, it wasn't about MJ, it was all about, it was really Harry Osborn's story.
Well, that's where the story not really fully being finished, or feeling like it didn't go in the direction it was supposed to, feels like there was some retribution for Nick Spencer going to Substack. He might not have ended his run on Spider-Man. This felt like, one of those, and not necessarily in quality, one of those Tom King 100 issue runs type thing. And we're on 74 and the story ends there. And it felt like, there was the 4-issue miniseries that was going on during this time. And this one's a double or triple page or triple sized comic book. That's like 7 months of comic. Oh, I'm sorry. For Marvel, that's like 3.5 months of comic books. If it was all just Spider-Man, and that would have just filled in nicely for that whole 100. And it's definitely trade writing, but it felt like there was definitely some anger, I feel, when Nick Spencer did what he did.
Absolutely, yeah. Spider-Man
So
was in a pretty good place. I don't know, Skip. What did you think? Did you read the issue? What do you think of Nick Spencer's run?
I think I ran away from it. No, I didn't read any of it at all. I listened to y'all talk about it because, especially when people started talking favorably about it. And I know it was a big thing for Dan Slott to end his run. So I was like, okay, people seem to have grown weary of that. We're moving over to something new. And I was open to the idea of reading a Spider-Man comic book. People probably don't know this, or maybe you do. It's been a point of contention everywhere I go. I'm not a huge Spider-Man comic book fan, and I enjoy the character, but I've never been a big fan of the comics. So when people started to speak favorably about it, I was listening in, especially US, because I know that Spider-Man is one of your favorite characters, if not your favorite. And I even know the reasons behind it. So I was like, let me see if there's something there. And even when you guys favorably were speaking about it, just the way that you described what was going on, I wasn't interested at all. And then we ended up with like husks and stuff like that. And then they were kind of playing the will they, won't they on the retcon. And it just felt a little too much like teasing. And then when I saw how long it was being drawn out and they were doing the thing where you introduce it and you'll go away from it. And I even heard y'all talking about how you were like, okay, they're going to, okay, all right, well, okay, they're going to go on another. I was like, nah, like I just got out of a bad relationship with Jonathan Hickman and X-Men. And he was one of my favorite writers. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? You got to learn eventually, he don't love you, homeboy. You got to leave. So yeah, I ended up not reading it, and now getting to the end of it and hearing y'all talk about it, I'm like, save my money and time.
Yeah, it's crazy, Jermaine. When you think about it, like when you look at his run, it's 74 issues, but really, they did all these dot issues, like during Last Remains, it's .lr. When it's hunted, it's .hu. So it ends up being actually 100 issues total. But if they hadn't thrown all this crap filler in there, and they were like shipping it 3 times a month sometimes, they were doing a lot of gimmicks to really to squeeze every ounce of ASM out of Nick Spencer.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to say Skip is definitely representing the horseman of the TC on this one because he's right. It's like I listened to that video with you and Doc, and I was like, "Are you guys kidding?" It sounds like at some point the pitch for Spider-Man turned into it's going to be Final Destination meets Scream. It's like it's just like we're going to torture Peter over and over again, and then we're going to find out it was 2 people who were actually doing it. And I'm just like, oh no! And now that you guys revealed that it's $10, because I didn't even look at the book, it's $10. It's like all I can say is this is probably the first time in my history as a comic book fan where I'm actually going to publicly advocate for a hard reboot. There needs to be a forget 75. There needs to be a Spider-Man #1 where they just wipe the slate clean and start over. And my deepest sympathies and condolences to every Spider-Man fan out there, because I know how it feels. They did it to Teen Titans and Legion of Superheroes. It's over. Spider-Man is never going to get back to what it was again.
It's going to happen, Gevian, but this is what they got on the horizon. So issue 900 is actually 99. So they can charge you $15 for that one. Issue 100, also a milestone, they'll charge you $15 for that one. And then they'll reboot it to #1 with the reintroduction of Peter Parker Spider-Man for another $15. So they are looking ahead and seeing that on the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man, when they can reboot, they're going to make a lot of money. So they're going to go out to they're going out to issue 100.
Man. Well, vaya con Dios. That's what I'm saying.
You're playing a kind of long game, Doc.
Woo.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations to them for finally deciding how to stick with something for more than 12 issues. So,
well, it's not really sticking with it's not real 12 issues. You know what I mean? It's not like it used to be, where it was once a month. I mean, you can have a reason. You can have a reason to have a Spider-Man comic every day if you want, I guess. As far as they're concerned,
I get that.
I mean, this was a 3-year run, and it was like almost 100 issues, and it went by like that. And how much of it was really good? And in the end, we're kind of griping about it. Was it worth it? I mean, he suckered me into liking it for a while, though. I'll give him that.
Honestly, I still really liked it. Am I disappointed that we didn't get one more day written out? Yeah, but I got Sins Pass taken care of. Got an entertaining
onto Ezekiel, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, onto Ezekiel and the fucking spider gods next. But I got the I got a great long form story that was only really interrupts the that was only
First
really
time
interrupted
was,
with that like 2099
Carnage, right?
Well, yeah, it was well, not really. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think Carnage.
No, the ASM issues tied into Carnage.
Did they? I don't recall them.
2 of them did.
Tying in. You know what? You might be right.
Us down.
I am right. I remember.
But regardless, they.
I don't remember it. Now I'm on. What is this? I don't remember reading those.
No, but like in the 20s or so, it started getting bogged down with a lot of it got crossover happy because it was doing well. So they decided, hey, since this is doing well and it's 20 issues in, let's attach this to everything. And I think it started hitting the sales a little bit, and they started going, they kind of went back to their own thing. And for like next, almost like 45 issues or so, or 40 issues, they pretty much just let it do its own thing. And it was good long form storytelling. And so I really don't have any complaints. Could it have done one extra thing that I would have really liked? Yes, absolutely. And it was leading towards doing that thing, and I think editorial interfered. But
all right,
other than that, I'm happy.
Do you see the question? Can you have an answer for that one?
Which rodent does Tom Brevoort look like? Yes, he looks like a gerbil. I think a gerbil's a rodent. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely ASM 30 and 31 were absolute Carnage Titans.
Okay.
There you go.
You know, when GOG came into the book during that tablet storyline with Kingpin, that's when the book really turned around for me. I started liking the boomerang aspect, and I thought that was a really well-crafted story. And it's a shame this end.
Supercam 1721 says, if they ever undo one more day, I believe Aunt May is going to die. What do you all think? Also, so glad Sins Past is no more. What do you think, Doc? If they undo one more day, does Aunt May have to die?
I don't think so. No, I mean, honestly, you can undo one more day by essentially finding a loophole in Mephisto's deal. You don't have to kill, you don't have to like reset back to one more day like post Civil War, although granted I wouldn't really mind, but you can redo it, or you can undo it without necessarily killing Aunt May. Now, can I think of the exact way to do that off the top of my head? No. I mean, give me 10 minutes and I can probably figure it out.
I thought they would just get married at the courthouse and that would like negate the deal.
We all love a wedding.
Yeah,
and, I mean, obviously, you had the bouquet and everything on the cover. That's what I thought was going to happen here.
I think that, but I think you can undo it, likely via just Doctor Strange somehow winning Peter's soul back or something.
Well, he was playing roulette with his own soul. Why wouldn't he do it with Peter?
Exactly. Play for to reestablish the marriage. Doesn't necessarily need to kill Aunt May in order to do it. You can sacrifice something else if you even have to.
So Kenneth Dowling says, and thank you very much to Kenneth and to Supercamp for supporting the channel. I read ASM 74 and afterwards I said, really? That's it. I know exactly how you feel. This is what all the fuss is about. All the hype led to this. I knew Spencer would drop the ball somehow. A complete waste to me. I don't know, Joe, as a comic book editor and writer, do you think it was Spencer himself that dropped the ball on this one?
It doesn't feel that way. And like, Doc, Yule, and others were alluding to that, yourself, like, it seems like it would be impossible if Nick Spencer was dropping the ball in this case because of all that stuff with Doctor Strange being like, something's wrong with Peter's soul. And apparently he cares enough to save, Harry Osborn's soul with Mephisto and all that. And, he just leaves him or whatever. And Mephisto's probably like, oh, gee, I guess he doesn't care about Peter's soul. Oh, well. And just goes about his day.
Yeah, but did Mephisto trick Strange too?
I mean, that if the next, person who takes it and runs with it does something like that, that could potentially be interesting. We'll see. But, I also want to make a plea here, with Kenneth, the other people in the chat, other people on the panel. Listen, Doc only likes so many Big Two comics that comes out. Let him have this. Like, come on.
Listen, I encourage everyone to disagree with Doc, so I'm not going to say anything about this.
Hey, this is the Doc is Right show.
No, Skip had a pretty damn good point there, Doc. You, sir, got that one wrong. Thank you very much, Skip. We also got King KDI all the way from jolly old England. What will written out of comics first? Spider-Man, Spider God Totem, or Bat God? Long term, will Marvel ever let Joe Quesada leave because one more day won't be fixed? I don't know what we'll go out of. Will be written out first, retcon first. Yule, do you think it'll be the Spider Totem, which is ridiculous, or Bat God?
Wait, refresh my memory about this Bat God. You mean like the stuff that Grant Morrison did? You mean like that? I can't remember.
Scott Snyder.
Oh, it's Scott Snyder. I can't remember. I'll say the Bat God since I can't remember anymore.
Well, and it's the Omniverse, and it's the linear verse, and they're having a crisis.
Well, damn, that's a lot of important things all in one thing. All right, Spider God then. Spider Totem.
The spider
do that
totem
one.
is one of the
Guys.
dumbest ideas I've ever heard in my life, Yule.
I don't know. Dominic in chat was talking about how they could do stories about Ezekiel being the first Spider-Man, and I'm like, yeah, that would be a book that would be pretty easy to write. I think it could be like well done and kind of cool, but I don't know. I like that the spider totem made sense because all the Spider-Man villains are always animals, like Shocker and Mysterio. But other than those,
See what you did there, Yule.
Thank you. Usually it doesn't work, and I screw it all up. It's kind of a cool concept, but overall, I really didn't like it that much. John Romita Jr.'s art was really good, though.
Back in the day. Of course, he's returned to Marvel. We'll see what he does. I think he's returning for that big Fantastic
He did that
Four
Fantastic
anniversary,
Four.
right?
It
Yep.
came out like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
it's $10. It's $10, by the way.
And you had those. And you
My
had
damn
those.
slot,
J.
that's
Scott,
a problem.
and
Did
you
we
had
just
those.
bring Gevian here to murder him with $10 comics? Is that what's going on?
Dude, all I'm gonna say is this: the problem with One More Day is that it was designed to fix something else that Marvel shouldn't have done, which was reveal Peter Parker's secret identity. So the lesson to be taken from here is that we have tropes in comics for a reason, and there's a reason why they work. But when you mess up one thing, best believe the comic god's gonna pay you back by you spending the next 30 years trying to fix it.
So what
In the
you're
intelligent
telling
community, we call that third and fourth order effects.
So you're telling me that we have $10 Spider-Man number 74s all the way over because of Mark Miller?
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
All right,
And you know
Doc,
what? Maybe make some more Netflix programs, while you're at it.
There you go.
Doc, we interrupted you a few times. What do you got to say, Doc?
I was just going to say, whenever Yule was talking about good JRJR art, I was also going to say we also got great J. Scott Campbell covers.
Oh, yeah. Spider-Man's butt looked like he could crack walnuts.
You could bounce a fucking quarter off that bad boy right into a cup.
Oh yeah.
And like they sexualized the crap out of Spider-Man on those covers.
Yeah.
Like that same Milo Manara pose that everybody bitched about.
Lord.
That J. Scott Campbell did it better, and he did it on his first issue cover with of Spider-Man.
He did it better.
We got Callum Lyle says,
that way.
I've really enjoyed your 7 Sins videos, and I hope you do a Dante's Inferno themed version based on the 9 Circles of Hell. I've enjoyed those seven Deadly Sins videos as well. Obviously, we did Marvel with Doc, and we did DC Comics with Josh, who should be back here next week. So, hey, maybe that's a good idea. I would like to keep doing those because those are always kind of fun to try and fit a story into a theme of something like that. So I'm glad you appreciated that one. Those were actually a lot of fun to make. We've got Dark Admiral March Hare, who's pretty much been here since day one as well. Bronze Age Find, ASM related. I finally got my hands on a copy of ASM 121, The Death of Gwen Stacy. Congratulations. That is a beautiful comic book. Heartbreaking, but quite good. And to book in with my copy of ASM 122, The Death of Green Goblin. Whew.
My buddy just bought 121 at a show that we were at. I was like, oh, nice. Very
now,
good.
if someone hasn't read those or maybe is interested in a discussion about those, where could they find a video of people talking about those issues?
I have a playlist for comic book retrospectives, and myself and Joseph and Eric Breen all talked about the death of the Stacys. We did first the death of Father, and then obviously the death of Gwen Stacy, and that's a good video. Everyone should watch that one.
Absolutely.
And what are we doing tonight? Is tonight the Daredevil Return of Kingpin?
Yes.
Ooh.
So that's a good one. That was one of my favorite ones. That was obviously Frank
really
Miller
good.
At his apex. This is one of the best comic stories I've ever read.
Yeah,
So,
Frank Miller's
congratulations.
pretty good at this.
Dark Admiral March Hare on your find. Doc, did you see that he missed out on Uncanny X-Men? Was it 221?
211. And
211.
I'll keep my eye open for you, dude. I'll see what I can find.
Man, congratulations. Keep your eyes out. Those are good finds. Oh man. What else is going on with Amazing Spider-Man? Are you excited for the Beyond board, Gervain? If they keep it at $4, are you jumping in on Spider-Man Beyond?
Oh, no, I'm with Skip. I'm not a fan of Spider-Man comics
At
wise.
all?
It's like I'm. Oh no. I'm a fan of them in terms of the animated stuff. I like the animated stuff. I like the movies. I like anything pretty much but the comics. The last thing I really read, and I guess I'm gonna get some hate. I may get some hate for this one. Was the Moreland story of the whole Spider Totem thing. I didn't check in for the rest of it, but I enjoyed that arc and more the Moreland character, which almost came off like a Juggernaut character to me in terms of the Spider-Man universe. I could have done without the Spider Totem origin stuff, but I thought the story itself, in terms of Peter having an enemy that he can go up against that really challenged him, I thought that's what made that a great story. All the past sins, original sins, one more day, 2 more days, all that stuff. And to me, that's when it was just like, when you had, in terms of Doc's point about editorial interference, when you have an editor who's wielding their influence over a character to such a degree that it's like it actually gets in the way of the presentation of the character, I think that's what it looks like. Because nobody was complaining about Peter and Mary Jane being married, not to my knowledge at that time. Nobody's complaining about it.
Joe Quesada was.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. That's my point. No, it's like the same point I make about. It's like the point I make sometimes about comic creators, when it comes to the character of Robin. There are a lot of comic creators who hate that character, but everybody else who actually buys the books likes that character. So it's like, I don't know what to tell you, but they have mucked up Spider-Man to the degree, because I would skip that. When I listen to the Doc and West talk about the video, it's like, even if I was thinking about think about revisiting this, I would never revisit this character again based on that description.
My video turned you off to Spider-Man?
I am not. I was turned off when you guys.
I deserved it.
Yeah, I was turned off when you guys were talking about the part of the story where he kept getting killed over and over and over and over again. I'm like, what is this? Is this? It was just like, it's like that. That does not sound like Spider-Man to me. I don't know what he's trying. Look, you don't want to keep creators from doing something new and exploring new avenues and stuff like that. But there's sometimes you got to kind of like throw something out there, and everybody needs to take a step back or bring somebody else in and say, okay, wait a minute, guys. And that has not happened for Spider-Man, at least in the last 5 years.
Jermaine's going to sit there with his Spider-Man thermos, watching Spider-Man cartoons, and y'all can have your stupid comic books.
Yeah, that's right. $10 comics.
But Gevian, did you ever read Spider-Man like in the early days or anything like that? Marvel Team Up, anything?
No, I used to read Marvel Team Up and Marvel Tales, which was the reprint. So I like early Spider-Man. Like, yeah, it's the Ditko stuff. I never got as far really as the Ramita stuff. And someone just put up Roger Stern. I've never done that. So I'd appreciate anybody giving me recommendations for good runs, because I think I like there's certain runs I like in it. And Spider-Man at one point I was only buying it because Mark Bagley was drawing it.
All right, here's one. Here's one. This is the most important one.
Let's
okay,
get to this one. This is the Kate Dowling. Roger's third recommendation. Now go, you.
Peter Parker's Spider-Man was written by Paul Jenkins with art by Mark Buckingham. You got to get the collection of that. It's so good.
Right.
And
is it more than $4?
Well, it's a collection. So, you're going to have to, it's going to be like $25, $30. But
that's right. That's no problem.
That's the one.
Anything?
Right, Joe, I'll check it out.
One? Go ahead.
Is that the one, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, Doc was about to recommend something. So
anything with David Michelini. All the David Michelini era. Buy it.
So all Venom, all that stuff.
Yeah, you have everything from like the late 200s all the way up through, you'd be getting close to 400.
Yeah,
because
don't go that far. Go to
around 375.
When you get to Mark Bagley, stop. That's what I suggest.
Oh, really?
Don't read any of the Spider-Man written by Todd McFarlane because they're awful.
Yeah, unless you like Todd McFarlane's art, and then you can get
then just go read the ones that he didn't write.
Yeah, the ones with David Michelini.
Well, you need to have Wolverine in it. You need to have other people in it. It can't just be Spider-Man and Mary Jane screwing around on the couch.
Spawn or Spider-Man, the adjective
let's get rid of those two.
adjectiveless Spider-Man, like 1 through honestly 14, were fine. I didn't have any. I thought they were fine. They weren't the
It's 'cause
greatest
you're-
written.
I mean, yeah, there's stuff like Craven's Last Hunt. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's definitely like some great arcs and stories like that. But like, I would say, I even like the '67 cartoon, which I think did a better version of the like, bad luck Peter Parker stuff all the time. But yeah, I guess it was always the aspect of Peter Parker where like nothing in his life went right personally. I always enjoyed just when he was Spider-Man better, which is really what the cartoons deal with. They don't deal so much with the mopey dopey Peter Parker stuff, with the exception of the '67 cartoon, and that's why I really didn't like the '90s cartoon. I guess maybe I just never had a real interest in that part of his life. Like I would have liked to be Spider-Man, but I didn't want nothing to do with Peter Parker. It's like, yeah. It's like,
Then
I
you
don't
don't.
get that.
Then you don't like
I
Spider.
get enough of that in real life.
It's true.
Yeah, basically.
So when did Comic-Con get a Comic Character Hall of Fame? We know Wonder Woman is going to be inducted. It feels like she probably should have been part of the first panel of characters that would have been inducted. How long has that thing been a thing?
I think it's only been a couple of years or something like that. I don't think it's been that long. But even then, like I feel like this isn't something that's really been like advertised much or anything.
But because of the 80th anniversary, they're like, well, it's a big deal now.
Yeah, no, and look, Diana looks great for 80. I don't think anyone would say otherwise, but I guess depending on who's drawing it. But it's no, that's great. And this month is the 80th anniversary right now for Wonder Woman. So, and on top of that, today is Ramona Fradon's 95th birthday.
Wow,
Hey,
Is she on social media? Can we go and give her a shout out?
I doubt it, but I
You can
mean,
just
yeah,
whisper it in the ether. It's okay.
yeah,
You'll get to her.
If you have a
Also-
message, send it out to Joe and he'll give it to her personally. I think they're friends.
Also, there'll be a $10 Wonder Woman 80th anniversary issue coming up next week, Jermaine.
It's true. I'm not reading it. It looked awful. We got King KDI that says, hit that thumbs up button. And I couldn't echo those sentiments even more. We're at 43 likes. We're over at 160 live viewers right now. So
ooh,
it doesn't
I'm
cost
sorry.
you anything. If you want to support the channel, go hit the thumbs up button. If you think the panel sucks because Skip's here, you can give us a thumbs down too. We don't mind. We're good with it.
Skip, you never read Spider-Man at all beforehand?
Craven's Last Hunt was the only thing that I read that I liked, and everything else would be like odd recommendations, like here and there from people, but not really. It never kept me. But like we were talking earlier, I never, even when I liked Spider-Man, like the show and stuff like that when I was younger, I was always down to be Clark Kent. Like I'd be, oh, it'd be cool to be Superman and Clark Kent. Oh, it'd be cool to be Superman and Bruce Wayne. I never wanted to be Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It was just like, it'd be cool to just have the web slingers. Like,
well, he washes his own underwear. Who wants to do that?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Clark does too.
Does he really need to though?
I mean,
he has that little.
You need to ask
force
Clark
field,
that
you know?
question.
I think he could probably just like UV clean them with his
that's what
eye
I'm thinking.
beams.
He has that little force field around him anyway, so his clothes ain't getting dirty.
He can design web slingers, but he washes his own underwear. Really? It's like, come on, man.
This
Do you really
is
think
the big
Superman
question.
needs to like defecate? I mean, really?
Yeah, I was going to ask. This is the big question: does Superman poop? And therefore, does he need to wipe?
I don't even know if Kryptonians have intestines. I'm not familiar with that.
I mean, he does like grow
anatomy.
facial hair that he has to like heat vision off, but yeah, so maybe I assume Kryptonians poo.
That's the big question.
Under
Answer
a
that in
yellow
the chat.
sun.
Do Kryptonians poop? Chat,
Under a
help
yellow
us
sun.
out. Under a yellow
under a
sun.
yellow sun. Obviously, under a red sun, they do. I think we're not idiots, people.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was doing a little bit of research. We do have Sigma Comics. Thank you so much. Very generous $50
Wow.
super chat to support the channel. Keep it 2 to Thinking Critical. Big 2 ruined beloved characters. Indies are where it's at. Gonna turn Doc into a fan of Here Comes Calico. Wes, send your great fans over to Indigo to pre-order issue number 3. Soprano fans will recognize Vito Trias. Absolutely. If you're looking for a great project to go support, go out there and support Calico and slide right now on Indigo. It looks like there's a couple weeks left I'm going to drop the link on the screen here in a few minutes. But
Is the title called "Here Comes Calico"? Like a cat?
It is Here Comes Calico #3 is what is being funded right now.
Okay.
And very exciting stuff. And a lot of great comic artists and writers have gone to Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Obviously, you got a lot of friends of the channel been doing that. And what are your thoughts on this, Joe? We got the indie movement going. We're seeing bigger sales, even on the classic, smaller publishers. I guess if you want to call Image, we've seen the things that some of the releases have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Feels pretty hot.
Yeah, no. I think obviously the pandemic got more creators going on, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, places like that to get their work out. I think that trend's going to continue, and we're going to see how Penguin Random House and some of these other distributors work with smaller publishers to see if that's going to be sustainable for everyone, if they're going to get the kind of treatment they want from a place like Penguin Random House when they're so far down in terms of priorities. It's like Marvel is already something that it's like they've got bigger clients. If you're IDW, are you going to still get that same treatment as even Marvel? So like, I think we're going to see over the course of the next year how some of that stuff goes, and if that's going to spark even more people going to Kickstarter, Indiegogo. There was that one crowdfunding platform that was like really just for comics. Zoop.
Poop.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see stuff like that. We're going to see more people trying things like Substack and, having stuff behind a Patreon wall. We're going to see more people trying out that stuff with like, Webtoon, Tapas, and trying to do things where they'll make the comic so it can scroll, but they'll try to do it in a way where they can chop it up and put it in a graphic novel so they can get it in stores, things like that. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that over the next couple of years.
I will say the Marvel Infinity Comics line feels like it's been a whiff on that part. That thing
it's trash.
It sucks.
Yeah. But I think what Webtoon's doing with the Batman Wayne Family Adventures works perfectly for what they're trying to do. The demographic they're going for and the kind of story. It's a light, quick, you can read that if you're on like the bus or on the subway, and it's like, oh, I got like 2 minutes between stops, ha ha ha, chuckle, that was fun, and you move on with your day. Like that works perfectly for that. We're gonna see what happens with Archie. I was a little less impressed with the Archie Webtoon attempt so far. It was a little too like dour, but we'll see. That there's a lot of other things they've been doing. Archie's also been doing like bite-sized Archie, where it's these like quick 4-panel things and they like throw them on like Instagram, stuff like that. I think we're going to see Archie doing a lot more stuff like that. I'm a little more into that because those are just quick, like 1-2 punch kind of old-fashioned kind of newspaper strip kind of bits. So yeah, I think everyone's going to be trying everything they can to see what's going to work and where the wind blows.
That does bring to mind why they haven't tried reprinting like the old Stan Lee Spider-Man strips.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, hell, they could do Calvin and Hobbes in that format and people would buy the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So we've obviously got Skip writing a comic as well as obviously the guys at Calico. We've got Gevian is getting into the publishing industry. We know that back in the day, I think Yul Carter's been credited as, were you an editor on
no, we don't talk about that.
Actually, I want to talk about the comic book that you got your name on.
I actually
needed the money.
There was a time when I wanted to break into comics, and I was working with this guy, and like they took me off the where the editor spot was on the cover, or wherever it was supposed to be, inside cover, and then left it in on the splash page like an idiot. It was trash. So that's all there is.
Well, you're a published comic.
No. That
Are
was
you
like
gonna get back in the game? Or are you gonna
no,
make me try
that was
some of
like
this stuff?
image. That was like image editing. You know what I
That
mean?
was
You
so-
don't edit when you edit an image comic book.
So
Okay.
this is kind of
Who's
like
telling
that,
Kirkman what to do?
this is kind of like that girl that's really embarrassed at what she had to do to put herself through nursing
No, I
school.
got it right here. This one right here. Here.
Hey,
Look at
Pornhub
this
still
trash
hasn't
right
taken
here.
those videos down.
That looks
Look
great.
at it. Can you tell that's the 90s? Can you tell that's the 90s?
Look at the bulge on that boy.
Wow, look at that.
That
head.
is a moose
Look
knuckle.
at that
I
head.
like
That's
it.
the 90s right there, everybody. You see, when you say,
Yep.
"Oh, the 90s weren't that bad," it created shit like this.
Now, can that guy raise his hands up over his shoulders and touch them together?
Why would he want to? But here. There you go. Look at that hot piece right there. Can you see that? Wow. What the hell's in the comic called? Yeah.
Peace.
All right, that's
It
Peacemakers.
doesn't. It
I
doesn't
thought it
matter.
was Peace Sneakers.
That's what my book's gonna be called.
There you go.
Peace Sneakers.
Peace sneakers. So do they just run around sneaking, like trying to pee behind bars without getting caught? Put on a registry
All right, guys.
somewhere.
Oh, peace
Seriously.
sneakers. I see what you're saying. Let me write that down. Now that's
I do want to say, obviously, thank you very much to the guys behind Sigma Comics for supporting the channel. If you have not gone to their campaign, there is the link. I put it into the comment section as well. Go check it out. There's some preview art there. There's a video by the writers, everything, and maybe it's the comic book for you. Definitely go out there and support it if you can. Give it a shot, and we're very excited for the third issue. And congratulations, and thank you once again for supporting the channel. That was very, very generous.
Yes.
And we got another one in here. I should have taken that one off so early. Here, let me put it back before I find this. These things happen.
What's this book that Skip's working on?
That's
I
a
don't
top
know
secret
anything about
project.
it. Oh, it's a top. Oh, I didn't realize.
When it
There's
comes out,
NDAs. and
Oh,
stuff.
that's right. You need to get that artist first. So we're putting a call out for artists, also, is what you're saying.
I was gonna ask
suck,
for the
okay?
artist of I was gonna ask for the artist of Peace Sneakers, but you put the book away so fast I didn't get to look at the name.
Tony Santini. Yes,
To-
that's
to-
the guy's name. Look him up. He actually did a couple of Marvel cards also, and we laughed. So-
Hey, if he's still drawing bulge like that, me
Dude,
and
that
Jimmy
was
are
some
hiring.
world-
oh, I
class
know what your
moose
book's
knuckle.
about now.
that's what I'm talking about. We also got Cal Lyle. Once again, supporting the channel. Thank you so much. I've learned more about comics from all of you and many other YouTubers and sketch and write my own. It's DC's fanfic comics. I know it won't do much, but I mostly do Nubia and Nightstar. I get very positive comments. That's awesome.
That's
you know, if you don't love exactly what DC's putting out and you want a better Nubia or Nightstar comic, go write it yourself.
And start a Patreon page, and then
Yeah.
you can print them up for those people.
Absolutely. And
I'm
think
pretty
that's a
sure
good-
that's a
do
good way
it.
to get sued, but
No, it's not,
You
because
charge for it.
you are giving them something for free. They are a member of your service.
Yes.
okay.
There you go.
That's the way that John Byrne does it, and that's the way that I know Diversity in Comics back in the day when he was doing that X-Men comic was doing it as well.
Oh, that's right. He did like a Ms. Marvel one too, or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a couple.
That's right.
I don't know anything about it though.
But
I don't know.
you
I
know
just
what?
know that he did it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
since all Marvel and DC do is basically like troll fanfic places to find their terrible writers these days, maybe you'll actually find you and be like, hey, this guy actually understands our characters. Holy crap, it's just not him making people just gay together. Good.
Okay, that was a weird.
Sorry.
Let's move on. Thank you very much,
That was
Cal
stupid.
Lyle.
Well,
And
we're
it says,
talking about
I'm-
webcomics, right?
No fanfic.
I'm joking.
He says, I'm still trying to build an audience and still practicing my sketching and writing. And somehow I've managed to piss off the right people at Comics Pros on Instagram. Thanks. I wish I could share. Well, you and Doc have something in the comic because he pisses off everybody on Instagram and Twitter, especially their Comics Pros. Right, Doc?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure there's like 5 that like me.
Nah, there's no way.
Well,
Joe,
I've heard
There's
from
not
a
even
lot of
5.
We
I've
got
seen
Joe, Brett Booth.
I've seen a lot of editors on Twitter say, you don't really want to upset people now if you're looking to get in later, right? I mean,
I'm not looking to get in ever.
well, I'm just saying here. Oh, you're building an audience.
Yeah, he's building an audience
yeah,
for
for
his webcomic.
Man, I don't know. I mean, well, if that's all you're doing it for, that's fine. But if you're looking to go farther, I don't know if I want to go the doc route, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Kyle Miles making him mad because he's calling him names or anything. I think he's making him mad because he's showing him up. It's like, this is how you write a
I
New
didn't
Year
read
comic.
it right. See, got to work on that. Pay $10 for that. Make it for the stupid people.
Sigma Comics says, Wes, play the video on Indiegogo. Now, I would do that, but if I put the screen up and I hit play, there will be no audio because of the way that StreamYard's set up. But I do have my email in the video description, and if you send me the video itself, I can play it. So if you get that to me by the end of the show, I will absolutely put it up by then. And thank you very much for supporting the channel. And congratulations once again on Calico #3. Everybody, the link is was in the comment section. I played it up earlier if you need to go check it out again. But you can always go to Indiegogo and search Calico #3, and you will absolutely find it. But that's all I did when I brought it up a couple times that I have. So it's quite easy to search. So yeah, send me that video and I'll absolutely play it. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. What else we got? Are we done with Spider-Man?
I've been done for a while, I think.
Oh,
I think
we finished main topic
in under
before
an hour.
Wow. That's perfect. Let's get on to ScarJo settling with Marvel. There are obviously a lot of lawsuits that are out there. The big first one was Scarlett Johansson essentially well, she didn't settle with Marvel. She settled with Disney. I wrote that one wrong. It's with Disney because she felt that releasing her movie Black Widow on Disney Plus at the same time that it was in theaters reduced her ability to make some bonus money by basically the performance of the film. Apparently they have settled. I'm not all that surprised on this one. We know there were some other suits that are out there that I imagine they'll try to settle. Joe, there's a lot of lawsuits out there. Obviously, we've got the Ditko family and the other estates that are looking to get some copyright things. What do you make of all this stuff? Is it just, typical Disney?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of these playing out differently than a lot of the other things that have been going on. They'll probably end up the same way where it's like they'll settle out of court. They're going to try not to disclose the amount of money they're giving people. ScarJo's going to make a nice chunk of change off this, but you're not going to have a precedent set up. You're not going to have it so people know how much money they can go for, and they'll be able to take it on a person-by-person basis. They're updating all of their contracts now, so they're not going to be going through this again. And, same thing sort of with Ditko. It's like a 99.9% chance that they're going to settle out of court with the family. They'll get an undisclosed amount of money, and you'll start getting, little bits in the Spider-Man comics of, Spider-Man, co-created by Steve Ditko, and use arranged through the Ditko estate. They would rather spend more money than they think they should to settle out of court where no one's going to know how much they spent than risk a precedent being set in court.
Yeah.
And they would much rather, considering the amount of money they make from Spider-Man, I mean, they would rather something like, we'll give you $50 million, whatever it is. We're not going to tell people, but we're going to give you this money because that way there's not going to be a precedent. So that way we don't lose, billions of dollars down the line from, just getting hosed in court if we risk losing. And even if we win, just the public perception would just be devastating, to be like,
not so great now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you don't want to do that. If you settle out of court, it's like, but people still are like, oh well, at least the family got what they wanted. They printed that in the comics, and there's something tangible people can see from the settlement, and people get over it. So I think that's what we're sort of looking at from here. A few other actors are probably not going to get much or anything, but they'll settle something. All the contracts are going to be updated. I think that's what we're looking at.
Yeah,
you guys have an
it's
idea?
a sanctity. Yeah, it's a sanctity of contract issue. That's what it was from the get go. It's
Yeah.
like, and it doesn't go one way. And it's like this idea that Disney thought, or Marvel, whoever it was, thought that they could draft a contract which basically guaranteed a theatrical release because that's how she was going to get paid. And then you go back behind that, and then you make a move that clearly solely benefits you once out of that contract. What do they think was going to happen? So does Scarlett Johansson go to, says I'm doing Black Widow and then play Black Widow over at Warner Brothers or something? No, you don't get to do that. So I mean, this was a joke from the beginning that that whoever it was that didn't go back to Scarlett Johansson's camp and say, look, we want to do this for Disney Plus and we want to amend the contract because she's going to ask for more money. Well, this is the price that you paid, and if that wasn't already baked into the strategy that we'll do this and get away with it for a bit, and then we'll see if she'll blink or not, then that person needs to be fired because apparently you failed.
There's going to be an actor strike coming up soon, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh no,
I mean, I think it's right around the corner. They're talking about collective bargaining in baseball and stuff like that, but it very much Disney reminded me of like an athlete that has to play X amount of games or get X amount of at bats or pitch innings or whatever, and then they just get sat the last weeks of the season and they don't get the extra money, and that's what her situation kind of felt like. But going forward, screw precedents. I'm just going to sign everybody to the contracts the way I want them to. I think there's going to be an actor's strike.
No, and I think there's some parallels to when this happened in baseball a few, couple of decades ago, whenever it was. It's like the first thing they do is like, well, we paid you $20 million. You get paid. They play the narrative, the public relations game to say, what are these guys complaining about? Hey, general public, these guys make more in a season than you would make in 50 lifetimes. And it's like, and while that may be true, that is not the point. Because let's get one thing straight here. Disney is not some old guy sitting in the back in some storeroom someplace counting his pennies and hoping to make it to the next month, living hand to mouth. That's not what's going on here.
Right.
That's not what's going on here. So they think they're being slick, and I think at this point, I think the general public is a little bit more too hip to this now.
But does it matter when you got Pixar movies coming out?
No, I mean, no. I think what Joe's point was when he was talking about the families and stuff is at some point that joint goes both ways. Because if you want to frame it like, well, these are just greedy artists who they don't appreciate the fact that we gave them $20 million for this movie, and what do they want? What are they asking for? At the same time, like somebody would, you're like if she's making $20 million, how much are you making? And why are you sitting up here trying to nickel and dime somebody out of the $20 million they asked her for? Now, yeah, those of us in the general public like a pox on both your houses. But the simple fact of the matter is, Disney had to be kidding themselves, because if Disney is able to do what they tried to do to Scarlett Johansson, then what prevents anybody from doing the same thing when it comes to them in terms of honoring their contract? That's why it's called precedent. And you don't want a precedent set, because once that precedent is set, all somebody has to do, and this is going to tie into, I think, which is the next issue about that Friday the 13th copyright termination. Once you start messing around with the rules like that, is as long as somebody has the knowledge and the balls to do something about it, anything goes. You can't do it. You can't allow that to happen. So Disney, I don't know what they thought she was going to do, but they obviously miscalculated.
She's just the right person for that too.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of these, especially with Hollywood trying to move into more of a streaming release, because they don't have to split that money with theaters anymore.
Nope.
But they're still writing contracts under the premise that they are going to get theatrical release. No, they need to Disney wants the freedom. Disney's been good for this for a long time, which is having the freedom to do whatever the hell they want and screw everybody that's behind.
No consequence.
Well, I mean, Hollywood in general does it. I mean, there's Hollywood accounting that's been a long-standing joke that, I mean, they're still trying to find a way to make Men in Black still being a money-losing franchise.
Yeah.
Because of the way that they do accounting. So the last thing they want is precedent set in a courtroom, because then they'll actually have to show how they're doing the accounting, how they're doing all this stuff.
Exactly.
The discovery
They don't want nobody to know that. Yeah.
would be a disaster for them. They already get out of paying so much money just on their fuzzy accounting. They're not going to do it. And then you get. Well, no, go ahead, Gevian.
And all they had to do was amend the contract. That's all they had to do. I mean, somebody's going to sit and say, "Oh no!" All they had to do was amend the contract. Most standard contracts have some clause in there where you can revisit the contract with someone. And if they didn't, but those who aren't savvy to this, any contract is negotiable. It's negotiable. It's just a question of whether you want. It's a question of whether both parties want to do it or not. And Disney clearly did not want to do it because, like Doc is saying, the pile that they get from streaming, that's all Disney, baby. They ain't cutting that with AMC. They ain't cutting that with Cinemark. They ain't cutting it with nobody. And they just didn't want to give her share. Exactly. Until they own those theaters. And that's why they did it. And for those of you who are in the audience who are talking about going into business, understand something. You don't have to get 99 cents of every dollar. Don't be greedy. Pay people their share. Labor has value. I would say all labor has value, because for the simple fact of the matter is that whoever's running Disney right now, that guy at the very top of Disney, he can't do all that by himself or herself. It just can't. That's why all labor has value, for no other reason than that. So yeah, they screwed up.
Everett Todd says, speaking of indies, obviously the previous topic, check out Delilah Kirk. Absolutely.
Say that again.
Delilah Dirk. I'm sorry.
I'm the last person to say that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wes.
goodness, I can't speak correctly. Thank you for the recommendation. We got Kenneth Dowling back on topic. This was no surprise at all. ScarJo just wanted to make a fuss. It made headlines, and Disney regrouped and settled. Plus, she has a movie she's doing with Disney, Tower of something. I don't know. Yes,
Tower, right? Based on the ride. Yeah.
Well, I think she wanted to get paid.
So wait.
Her lawyer went to Disney and said, "You need to renegotiate this if you're going to release it on Disney Plus," and they never got back. Well, they never did it.
Yeah, never got back. Yeah, never did it.
Yeah.
So wait, hold on. They're doing a movie based on a ride that was also based on a movie.
They already did that with Jungle Cruise.
Yeah,
I'm
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh. Well, no, like Pirates of the Caribbean was its own ride first. It wasn't a ride based on a movie. Now we're doing a movie based on a ride that's based on a movie. We're getting like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here. Like a Xerox of a photocopy of a Xerox.
But like, I remember going on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in like Walt Disney World as like a kid, and when I got off that, I wasn't like, that was an action-packed thrill ride. I'd love to see this on the big screen.
No, it's weird, all the stuff they're daft. They were going to make a Tetris movie. Like, what?
Oh, really?
Yes.
I can see that.
Weren't we
I will not lie. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, weren't we supposed to get a Ridley Scott Monopoly movie at some point?
Yes.
At least there's a character in there. They got the banker.
Sure.
I love that dude with the money
Monopoly
coming out of his pocket.
I want to see the puppy win, right?
I want to walk behind him.
I want the.
But I will not lie. Battleship is a guilty pleasure.
Battleship. You know what I always?
It's a guilty pleasure.
You steal my box office.
The best part of the Battleship movie is that they played inside the Pop-O-Matic bubble.
I didn't know there was the best part of that movie. I thought it was all terrible.
Well, I prefer my trouble to be Pop-O-Matic.
Even though Battleship doesn't actually have a Pop-O-Matic bubble.
It sure doesn't.
Oh, the game of life.
Gal Miles says, you should have invited Neon and Geeky Sparkles on this. I love it when Neon or Geeky Sparkles could come visit, but they are very, very busy. I know they have a very big show. They put out a ton of content. Plus, they have little kids like I have. And
they've got video games to play. Give them a
and,
break.
like, while we're at it, let's just have ScarJo to talk about the lawsuit from her perspective.
Well, I'm actually friends with Neon. I'm not friends with.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I got you. But...
They've got a big channel.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff. So we'll definitely have Neon again for one of these live streams. I'm sure he'll come on over again, but. You got to be strategic with those invites. He was just on a couple weeks ago. That's right. So I definitely appreciate any time those guys can come over and spend a little time with the small folks, right?
So somebody did make a very good point in the chat, though. Ridley Scott already made a Monopoly-inspired movie. It was called New Jack City.
So that was a damn good movie.
I thought that was what's his name? Not
I know it was Spike.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, Melvin something people's. Whatever.
When my little brother got out of prison, we started calling him Pookie. He did not like that joke at all.
Come on, yo.
He was like throwing hands. It's like we're just funning you, buddy.
It just keeps calling me. It just keeps calling.
Come on, Pookie. He's like, come on. Don't call me that shit again, man. I'm not joking.
What you really need for a Monopoly movie, though, is to bring back Tupac.
Well, they've done that already.
I know,
like a deep
like a 3D concert.
Some deep fake Tupac.
Man,
that'd be crazy.
Kenneth Dowling has jumped on the Gevian bandwagon. Gleasy's not supporting Doc this week. I appreciate that. Gevian was spouting some truth out there. Absolutely. Kenneth also says, Clue, the best board game based movie of all time. Love Tim Curry. And it's not even in doubt.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yeah, that's.
Now, when they make Mousetrap, maybe it's got some competition.
I need a list of all the movies based off board games.
Shoots and Ladders.
I've seen the Curse of the. Oh shit! Never mind. I'm done.
Jumanji was the best one based on a fake board game, but anyway.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
That's fair. Well, now Shoots and Ladders. I'm just imagining like Jason Statham, machine gunning down people on like a ladder.
The Rock.
Oh man.
Yeah, we need more movies based on board games. So
sure.
What do you think
Hungry Hippos, motherfucker?
Or the ruling in the Friday the 13th thing, Joe? I know a lot of people are going to jump to some conclusions because that was a copyright ruling. It was the same lawyer that's representing the families against Marvel. But, there was a couple of differences, but it has to be seen as good news, right?
It's good news for smaller cases. This is good news for people who are dealing with lower and mid-tier kind of agencies, ownership. It's not going to affect. It's like this case would not have gone that way if the Friday the 13th franchise was owned by Disney. So
it also wouldn't have gone this way if it was any of the Friday the 13th movies that actually included Jason Voorhees.
Sure.
Yep.
I think once you get that kind of pop culture icon character involved, courts are still going to be reluctant. It doesn't matter how bad you got screwed. They're going to sit there and go, I don't know if I really want to take this pop culture icon away from this giant multimedia corporation.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down
plus they're all incentivized to settle. Obviously, kind of what happened to ScarJo.
Yeah.
Kenneth Dowling says New Jack City by Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah.
Is it Peebles?
Yep, it's people. Yep.
Man, I always thought it was Peebles.
People.
Oh no, it's no, it might be Pebbles. Oh.
Man.
His dad
Mario Van Peebles movie
away.
is the Wolf. Have you ever seen the one where he's like a special elite task force and they're all werewolves?
Oh, I
remember.
I think it's called
Wait, what works?
It's a B, not a P. Pebbles.
Nah.
Peebles.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's pretty damn good. I remember seeing that one on
Skipntosh. It came out in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Was it on Sci-Fi?
I seen it. Nah, I don't think it was, but yeah, it did come out. Like I remember it. It was interesting, but
it's good. But yeah, they're like Navy SEALs, but they're all werewolves.
What,
Yeah,
was it like
but-
Howling
Dog
Commandos or
Sculptors or
something
something,
like
wasn't
that?
Oh, come on.
No,
Howling
it's
Commando.
it's like some lunar phenomenon is what it's called. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe it's eclipse. Something like that.
Maybe.
Oh my God.
I'm researching.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like those people that have the that wolf boy itis, whatever it's called, you know, where they go like worse than me, you know, like furry from head to toe,
You know,
and putting them out on like some reconnaissance missions.
Dude, do you have hair tufts on your back? Do you have tufts on your shoulders?
We don't talk about that.
I got
What's the
a
hell?
buddy that does,
Who
and
wants to hear about that?
Not me. I was just
Exactly.
sorry.
Hey, do you see me wearing a shirt? Huh?
dog
Yeah.
soldiers.
that's what I
Yep.
thought it was. Yeah, I
Dog
remember
soldiers.
Dog
that one.
soldiers.
Yeah.
Yep, so head over to Tubi. You can watch it probably right now. But anyway.
All right, dog
But
soldiers.
with
I gotta
the
write that down.
copyright thing, real quick, which is also interesting, was the fact of this what the agreement was in terms of the status of the creator, which was that apparently it was considered independent contractor as opposed to work for hire. So again, this goes down to these things that a lot of times when publishers or producers or whatever, when they write these contracts, a lot of this is dependent upon whether they think is going to make any money or not. How, if they entered into this agreement, it's like, hey, okay, we'll get one movie out of this and we'll never hear from this again. They're into these kind of contracts where it's like nothing's really clearly defined, rights aren't, especially in terms of time frames. And then when it was, oh man, we got a moneymaker in our hands, then it's like, well, we'll just hope this guy never comes back and says anything. And then somebody goes, hey, wait a minute, buddy, you did this, that, so on and so forth. So it's like, for people coming into this now on both ends of in terms of contracts, you guys really have to know what the principles are, what concepts are going to be placed, what you're actually negotiating for, and don't sell yourself cheap. That's the other part. I think way too much of what dominates most contract negotiations in terms of the creators is that we just tend to sell ourselves and what we're doing too cheap sometimes. So, but it is what it is.
It's on
Kenneth
YouTube,
Dowling
by the
follows
way.
up and says, "It is Peebles, and the movie is full of clips. You need to see that bad boy. It's so
Right.
damn good."
Yeah.
All right, guys, can you powder for a couple seconds? I got this video that I need to play.
Yep.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. Well, I haven't got it ready yet.
Here,
You
I'll
guys
mute
gotta
me.
talk.
Oh,
Powder
okay.
means
Oh, I see.
Let's go.
Oh, you mean
Oh.
fluffing?
Oh yeah,
Did you
I
fluff
can
this?
absolutely waste time for a few minutes. That's not
yeah.
a
I
problem.
just need a couple.
Wait, I
seconds
have a
here.
question for Gevian. Important
Mhm.
because you said this before. When did the Titans fall apart for you? You're like, oh,
Oh,
Teen Titans
man.
until this.
Oh yeah, no, I think Titans fell apart. I would probably have to say it was probably right after the wedding of Donna Troy. I think 50 was it.
So
I think
you're
after
like, when
50,
George Perez was off the book, so were you. Tom Grummett can suck
I-
it, right?
No. I came
know,
back.
I agree.
I came,
Don't
no,
worry,
I came
I
back.
totally
No.
agree.
I came back. I came back for Grummett when it was Perez doing the layouts. I think it was
Okay.
Perez was doing the layouts and Grummett was doing the layouts and Perez was doing the finishes. I thought that was a real nice look to the book. But even then, that was coming back for that art. I think story wise, it was just done. Because even with that, I think when I came back when it was New Titans, they were for the umpteenth time doing again Who is Donna Troy. So it's just like, sort of the handwriting was on the wall at that point. And,
I think that
Marvel for the
Danny
bits. It
Chase
was
character is where it
that
was
too.
over. That was like
Yeah,
done. Oh, and I was
yeah.
thinking Eduardo Barreto, actually. Sorry, Tom.
No, you know what? Actually, I'll take that back. It wasn't. Well, but that time they were doing the newsstand and the direct. But basically, the last Trigon, that first,
The first
5
six, and then
issues.
out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
and
Yeah.
and then after that, it was done. You're right.
I. Yeah.
Yep,
We'll talk about
exactly.
Legion later. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Hmm.
Well,
Oh,
The
still
one-
keep going. Well, for me, it was Devin Grayson. Whoa. Oh, that was.
Don't even get me started with Devin Grayson,
Well,
otherwise
actually, I
known
was
as
hoping it was gonna
MWG,
be
Mark Wade's girlfriend. But
That
anyway.
was the Titans, though. That wasn't Teen Titans.
Oh, no,
so
but
I
that
really shouldn't
Titans
be
was-
a dick about it. But I didn't like.
Yeah,
it.
no. You should, because that Titans, I've directly linked that interpretation of Titans to an interview she did where she said the reason why she wanted to get into comics was because she watched the episode of Batman the Animated Series, and she really enjoyed the fact that Batman and Robin would just sit in the Batmobile driving along and talking. and she apparently glossed over everything else that happened in that episode. So it's like when you read that Titans, it's just like Friends, but not good. And it's just like, she only did one, as far as what I read, she did one really good Batman story, which was like, I think part of an anthology or something where I think it was Bruce and Dick, they were investigating a case. And Dick was the one who had to bring it to Batman's attention that he couldn't see that the kid who had just lost his parents was the kid who actually committed the crime. Right. So that was about the only time her style of writing like that worked really well. But beyond that, she doesn't understand action in comics. She didn't understand comic storytelling. It's like,
I don't know anything about all that, but
yeah, I'm just gonna throw out there that I know Devin Grace has worked with her a few times, and I'm staying out of this one.
It's okay. Okay. I may never meet Devin Grace in life, and if I do, I'm still gonna stand on what I'm saying is no. And it's not like she was doing decompressed storytelling or writing to the trade. It's not that. It's
much
just
better
that.
Than that.
Yeah. I just think what it was a genre thing. It's like, if she was writing Love and Rockets, I think it would be fine. But I think for like Titans or Batman or something like that, you have to understand that part of it is somebody's supposed to get punched in the face. That's it. That would be my big criticism of. Yeah,
there's like too much X-Men type stuff in that Teen Titan or in that Titans, and it's like I don't need to see all that
soap
Nightwing,
opera?
The soap opera there.
Exactly.
Like, it wasn't. It's different, but I understand where she's coming from, but it just again. For the people that were coming back, it was a tough one. Bitter.
It's and the thing is like let's not get it twisted. There was plenty of soap opera in the Wolfman Perez run. There was just also a lot of action and adventure, and that was not present in Devin Grayson's run.
Yeah,
that's all.
That is it. Yeah.
All right, fellas, you ready for this trailer?
I don't know. Are we?
Calico number 3.
I think we're ready.
I'm sitting down.
I had to download it twice, because the first one didn't work, so I had to find another site. It was bad. So I got it good now. Let's do this bad boy.
Hector? Dominican guy. Yeah, I knew him. He did some work for us. Solid. I haven't seen him in a few years, and frankly, I have nothing more to say about that. Except that he beat the living piss out of a guy. One of my drivers. For kicking my cat. I liked Hector.
There we go. That's the trailer.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
There you go.
Gave me some mob vibes. Definitely
Absolutely.
got mob vibes.
Think someone's cat got killed. They're gonna maybe take
at
some
least
people out to
kick.
John Wick style.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. I mean, like killing a dog is one thing. Killing a cat.
Wait,
John Wick times 2.
Wait.
Cats.
Cats are like superfluous, I mean, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And they ruined Broadway.
Oh my goodness. We're not getting into this
And the
thing.
theater.
Yeah, you remember the movie, right, where they're floating cats?
Oh my
And-
god, that
and-
movie's
and-
terrible.
And Judi Dench had a cat butthole.
My
It
goodness,
got edited
that's
out,
rough.
I think.
I
Gallup-
saw that opening weekend, so I saw it before they cleaned it up.
Wow. They cleaned it up.
Perfect.
Wow.
We got Cal Weil says, my version of Donna Troy is the daughter of Hades and Diana's cousins. What do you think, Joe?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, my favorite Donna is just that in that run with Wolfman and Perez, and like before that, I didn't really care that much, and then after that, she has been all over the place and retconned into oblivion. But when I like Donna Troy, I really like Donna Troy. So I did like that like weird like star costume she got post crisis. That was like a cool costume.
A dark star, I do believe.
Yeah,
like Troya, and then went over to do that. And she was also hanging out with Kyle Rayner.
Yeah,
hanging out.
You guys, you and your filthy rumors.
No. Kyle Rayner was getting around, let me tell you. But one of the times he got around was with Donna Troy.
But I would
highly recommend.
Why is Kyle Rayner a god? There you go, right there.
I would highly recommend reading that issue of Who is Donna Troy in the original Teen Titans run. Before anybody starts deciding who's their favorite Donna Troy. That issue was so compelling. That it's like, and it is a issue without action and adventure to a certain degree. But it's like it really gave Donna a background and a personality that she didn't have before that, and I think that's what made her so beloved from that point forward. So, yeah.
And then she kicked Terry to the curb.
We got Kenneth Dowling here with the $3 super chat. Thank you very much for being very generous. I have actually created my own superhero and want to do a solid run, 50 issues top. I'm avoiding DC Marvel because of the decisions of late. If I'm looking for a creator-owned, which do you recommend? Image, Boom? I don't know, Joe. You've published some comic books. I don't, is there one that you would recommend him submit to, or maybe try and get him with?
It depends how you're doing it. If you're trying to do it, if you're cool getting paid on the back end and you're funding this yourself, Scout Comics is probably a solid bet. They have solid distribution through Diamond, as solid as it can be.
Diamond and Lunar.
They're Lunar also, yeah.
They are Lunar as well, yeah. So honestly, that's probably your best bet. It also depends on the artist you're working with. Like if suddenly if you end up with being in a position where you get a bigger artist, then maybe you look into something more like Image. But if it's people that don't necessarily have a lot of credits under their belt, or even if you just have one or two credits, I think Scout would be a solid choice if you're cool getting paid on the back end.
Definitely make sure you look at what each publisher offers, because you're going to want some type of ownership, obviously, and depending on which publisher, you're going to have to give up a percent.
Stay away from Action Lab, I hear.
Action Lab. I know some stuff going on with Action Lab, and stay out of that one. Stuff that's not out there. Obviously, we know the people are trying to get back their properties and all that. But as far as I can tell from Scout, they do have the closest to like an Image sort of model, in that you retain, either I think it's you retain the rights and they're basically like licensing it from you kind of thing. And then it reverts back to you after X amount of time. But the other thing with this too is you can negotiate a contract a little bit. Like you have to do it smart. You can't turn around and take a boilerplate contract and, ask for the moon, but you play it smart, and you don't have to settle for a boilerplate contract potentially. So there's a lot to it.
And thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling for supporting the channel. Oh, we got one more before we move on to the next topic. We've got King KDI. Should Marvel and DC be seen as the final destination, part of the journey for Comics Pro, both writers and artists, when they're a small press?
No.
What do you think, Jules? Is Marvel and DC still the final destination? It feels like most of the bigger creators are seeing a Substack or maybe a deal with Comixology or Image or some place where you get to retain the rights to your own stuff is the final destination. But Marvel and DC are there to build up your portfolio and your reputation.
That's how it's become. I mean, it kind of was that way before when the independent boom happened in the 80s, where established pros were going and doing things before there was an image. But at the same time, you know, guys like Matt Wagner weren't known, and they were doing stuff for other companies. So it feels like that was like this now. Whatever it really is an independent, I don't know. When they're all getting sort of equal distribution, it really doesn't matter. When they're all selling like pretty much the same as the main company's worst titles. You know, the independent's best and Marvel and DC's worst meet up, and it's not, you know, it's not as flattering as it might have been at one time. I look at it from a store's point of view. I sell comic books. The things that come out more often than not are Marvel and DC, and they have things that connect to other things that make you buy things. When you follow a creator, they're only probably doing that one thing wherever they're doing it, and now they're not even doing it for comic book stores. So fuck them.
It should be the destination.
Hey man, if you don't want to have a comic book store, that's fine. I don't care.
No,
I can get a job at McDonald's and pay myself more. You know? I mean, seriously.
In
they
all
pay
honesty,
minimum wage.
It should be the destination. It's not. Currently, it's not.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be moving forward, but you're also going to, until it starts being the destination again, you're going to see the comics industry continue to shrink every year until that happens.
We're seeing it in everything, though. You know, it's just,
Yeah.
I feel like we're just too ADHD, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
entertainment wise.
I think it also depends on the creators too. Like everybody's idea of success is different. I have some friends that are comics pros that have never worked for the big two that are highly successful and have had shows on ABC, and they have no intentions on working for the big two. They're open to it, but like that opened my eyes for me to realize like it doesn't have to be the destination. It can just be part of the journey, or it could not be. And the reason for that is partially the big two's fault.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. You're talking about people whose final destination is not actually comics. If you're talking about people whose final destination is Hollywood, then no, obviously. But if your goal is to be in comics and have a final destination in comics, your destination has to still be in comics.
They've been in comics for more than 15 years.
I understand that,
but they're an artist.
But their final destination was still not comics. That's
no, it doesn't pay.
Okay.
This is a stupid argument. This is a stupid argument.
Well,
but
Michael
just real quick,
Bolton would go and do advertising gigs and come back to do comics when he could afford it. You know, even back then, you know, he wasn't making a lot of money. Neil Adams did, you know, that kind of stuff.
But Image broke the romantic hold that Marvel and DC had on the industry in terms of that track. So Doc is right. It's like it should be the final destination, but it isn't. And anytime Marvel and DC want to be that destination again, they will. Because everybody's going to come back to what we're all going to go back to what we originally loved, which is Marvel and DC, whether we recognize it or not. That's we always have a longing for that, whether we like it or not. So
Galabile says avoid Black Mask. Mostly avoid Kwanzaa.
Well, I mean, with that
Christmas.
though, Kwanzaa's a creator, is not an editor or runs Black Mask or something like that. Just to be clear.
And Larry knows him. He
was talking about the holiday. Okay.
No, he's talking about the creator. Kenneth Dowling says a huge thank you to Wes, Joe, and everyone in the chat for your recommendations. This is something I'm very passionate about. I love superheroes.
Excellent.
Oh, so do we, and we're glad to share this information. And you give me a couple of ideas for possible future videos. So you might have some tailor-made content for you waiting in the next week or two. And thank you very much. Who else we got? We got Dewbanger. We got Jerome. Shout out to the good brothers, Wes and Gevian.
Oh, man.
Joe C.
Yep.
Yule, Skip, and Mr. Doc. Enjoy your Saturday, family. Well, thank you very much. Obviously, Jerome was on the channel last week.
Yeah.
Had a great debut on the Aficionados. We'll definitely have him back. And hopefully you're having a great weekend.
Yep, that's my guy.
Yep.
All right, let's get it. This is what everybody's been waiting for. We waited 2 weeks for this bad boy. It's time for Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel. Who wins? And we're talking about Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. We're not talking about Shazam or any of Billy Batson Captain Marvel stuff. All right, Yule, you've been wanting to be a comic book writer for a long time. You've studied these characters. You know all their strengths and weaknesses.
Sure.
We put these two characters on the battlefield. Who's victorious?
All right. Like I said last time, I don't normally partake in this kind of thing. And I say it's whatever book they are in. So if it was Captain Marvel, she would win. And then Wonder Woman, she would win. They'd probably come to an understanding somewhere in the middle and then fight the bad guy. So, you know, that's what usually happens. Wonder Woman would kick her ass. She's a god. I can't stand Carol Danvers. When she was like, you know, in the X-Men, oh my God, it was just the worst. She came in and she punches Rogue the way she does. She deserved what Rogue did to her. How you like that? Take it. Take it. You know why? Because nobody cares about Carol Danvers and nobody ever did. I don't want to hear about it. Wonder Woman all the way.
The gloves are off.
This is what you're forgetting. You're forgetting, Yule. And maybe you just haven't been reading the comics, but I've seen Carol Danvers destroy Black Panther. I've seen her destroy Iron Man, Captain America. She has wiped out the entire Avengers single-handedly. You think she can't take an Amazon one-on-one? You are out of your mind, sir.
No. But we're talking about an Amazon. You see, get me here. Carol, she's just a pilot. Who cares? She doesn't know how to fight. Wonder Woman knows how to fight too. She's like Carol
Danvers is a trained weapon of
best
destruction.
Amazon. You know what I mean? At least you know how the story went until
she can't even beat up
John
Superman.
Ridley comes and writes a different version. What was that? She can't even beat up
Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
Carol Danvers would probably wipe their floor with Superman.
I don't know
nowadays.
about that. Anyway, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. You got me to come back for a second. Maybe I'll throw in another.
Are we still giving
Skip,
Carol?
You tell me, Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel?
Okay, so we're talking about Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, not Monica Rambeau.
No, she'd lose too.
I don't know. Monica, you know, with all the light related energy.
All of a sudden, she'd start thinking about her father's shrimp boat, and then Wonder Woman.
I don't know. Her father's shrimp
like that.
Her father's shrimp boat might fire her up to fight a little extra hard. You don't want to be away from that gumbo.
Emotional during that time, and Wonder Woman doesn't do that. No.
Well, I'll say like this: if it's let's get it back to Carol. If it's Carol Danvers, then I'm rolling with Diana because I want to, because I'm the writer of this question,
exactly,
and that's how I'm writing the end.
You do it with your heart and not your head, Skip. That's the problem. Nobody's thinking about this too. We've seen what Carol Danvers can do. When has Wonder Woman won anything lately?
I mean,
Wonder Woman holds back.
Yeah, she hold back. Carol Danvers holds nothing back.
I'm tagging Gevian in.
She would attack her not only with it physically, she would emotionally break her down with her insults and her, you know, when she's always looking at you and she's doing the little catty comments and stuff. She would totally break her self-esteem while she kicked her ass.
Yeah, right, sure. I don't know. I was going to say something I shouldn't say.
So. What do you got to say, Jewel?
Go ahead.
I was going to say something about the Air Force or something like that. You know, they're
sure.
always the butt of all the jokes.
The most fighting force in the world.
All I've ever heard is, you know, the Marines always making fun of the Army guys, and the Army guys.
I heard they were the chauffeurs of the
Air
Armed
Force.
That's
all the way down to the bottom. Exactly. Thank you very much.
I have relatives in all forces.
The premium fighting forces, United States Air Force. That's what you're going to do. Petty insults
too. That's the punchline of the joke.
Instead of
Top
meeting
Gun
on
was
the
fiction.
battlefield of.
He's wounded. He's wounded.
Ridiculous.
We got a man down. We got a West down.
Wounded. You guys are ridiculous. You can't even. Battle the debate here. You just got to do petty insults on my career. That's fine. I understand.
This guy Wes. Look at Wes. He's the customato over in Carol Danvers' corner right now. Like,
wow, I know. Really, exactly.
She doesn't need it. She's cosmic.
The real question is, can she beat Mighty Mouse?
I tell you what, Carol's most compelling when she's hanging out with Rhodey. There you go.
Oh, man.
If she's hanging out with Rhodey, she's cool. But when she's pining over him, it's all right. But
this isn't a beauty contest, Yule. This isn't a popularity contest. This is a hands down who wins a fight. That's where I think you're off track here. Kenneth Dowling, who I love, has got this one totally wrong. Wonder Woman, hands down. Wonder Woman, stronger, tougher, and immensely better fighter with centuries worth of martial arts experience. Oh, now she's a martial artist. Okay. Captain Marvel may give her trouble, but Wonder Woman wins. Captain Marvel can literally rip the balls off of Superman if she wanted to.
She's like really super powerful in like one aspect. Carol Danvers is, but that's all she is.
That's all she needs. That's the
no, because Wonder Woman can lift a fucking mountain, man.
Right? She got to go binary just to have a chance against Wonder Woman. Is all I'm saying, and that's just.
You think she won't go full binary, Skip?
She would have
to. Not gonna go binary
if she don't want to get mollywopped in less than 10 seconds. She got to go binary.
Not only that, Wonder Woman does some damage with that lasso too. When it's a good,
someone as narcissistic as Carol Danvers, that lasso means nothing. She believes
no.
All
it's not about the
says.
Power of the lasso. It's that she's kicking your ass with the lasso. Also, not only that, she's bound you.
You're bringing a lasso to the fight, and I'm bringing a jet fighter. You know what I'm saying?
No,
choose your fighter.
The answer is
she can't brace her or whatever. Blast.
Oh, she's got this.
Carol, yeah, she's doing that. Yeah, she's gonna do that.
I'm sorry, Doc. Everybody's interrupted you.
The answer to this is very, very simple. Marvel will just keep giving her more powers until she wins.
Exactly. Basically, that's right.
So now she's Batman, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, not Batman. She's not Batman. She's every superhero. Like literally at once. Like she's gonna beat you with her rock hand that's on fire while the claws that are ice. And she stretches and twists you and then uses magic. And then everybody's going to say, what, you don't like her yet?
She's going to have the Eye of Agamotto. She's going to have Iron Man's hand. She's going to have Cap's shield. She'll have Black Panther's claws.
She'll have Mjolnir, Wolverine's claws, a fucking healing factor, and his adamantium skeleton. And then she'll swing from Spider-Man's webs. And so the problem here is that Diana is an actual character, and Carol is just an amalgam of anything that the writer wants her to be at that moment.
Jesus, Doc, you're gone too far.
I love that.
Why you gotta go there? We got Cal Wild chiming in, and he says, "Wonder Woman, come on, she has virtue and gives a damn." Sir, you fight with virtue, and I'm going to fight with my jet fighter. We'll see who wins. Oh my goodness, Captain Marvel looks like more like a self-inserted Kelly Sue. Brie Larson is insufferable. Kelly Sue and Brie Larson don't even look alike.
I don't even. But the thing is, you don't do that with Wonder Woman. I need to know at least what Wonder Woman frame of reference you're coming from. Also, there's only one Captain Marvel, but we got some Wonder Women out there that I would like to know, Callum. So,
well, you know what? The one that I know will lose, 1970s mod Wonder Woman. She will definitely lose.
Lane,
I don't remember
one, man.
If regular Wonder Woman can't beat her, let's bring in Cheetah Wonder Woman from Dark Knight's Metal. She can bash, claw, and then eat Carol Danvers.
Well, here's the thing, though. Mod Wonder Woman wins if it's Carol Danvers in a coma, because all you need is like a pillow. There were years where a nice soft pillow and a few minutes would have taken her out.
Rogue should have finished the job. It's so frustrating.
No, but I mean, with Wonder Woman, it's like, depending on the different eras. I mean, you go to Azarello Chang, it's God of War Wonder Woman that killed the what was it, the last son or first son of, it was last son of Hercules. It's like not Hercules, Zeus. It's like, yeah, I think she can.
I'm talking about Carol Danvers, who will imprison children who did nothing. That woman takes no prisoners. Well, she does take prisoners, but you get what I'm saying.
She takes child prisoners.
When she's taking prisoners, she takes no prisoners, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Perfect. Kenneth Dowling says Batman is called Wonder Woman, the best melee fighter in the world. This is Batman, one of the best fighters in DC. This is also Batman, well-known male feminist who's likely just paying that compliment.
No. He was almost sleeping with her at that moment.
Oh,
Exactly.
well, that
He's
explains
playing
it.
a compliment.
Well, I mean, it was a lot
Trying
of,
to get in her.
No, he
Can't
could have.
her-
It's just
We all know
that,
Hawkman is the
you know,
best
they're
melee
teammates.
fighter in the DC universe anyway.
Mm.
I thought that was Wildcat.
No, it's
Hawkman.
it's Richard Dragon, right? He's the best combat fighter in the DCU.
Melee.
No,
fighter.
it's Karate
Melee.
Kid. Damn it!
No, it is Richard Dragon.
He's
Actually, it's
he's
Connor
29th
Hawk.
century.
We all know it's Connor
Whatever it
Hawk.
is, it's not Wonder
Damian,
Woman. Batman
whatever.
is lying.
They're all
He
the
didn't even
best.
mean it. Jeez.
Oh,
Kenneth
Lady
Dowling.
Shiva, she's the best, right?
I'm for Karate Kid. I think Doc is right again. It's Karate Kid.
That's the best.
He's the
martial
best
artist.
fighter
I'm
in the
talking melee
universe.
Fighter.
There's more than one discipline, you know.
Exactly,
That's right.
what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Karate Kid.
No, his karate is so good that it can beat any
That's
discipline.
right.
All right, fine.
Anything.
Joe, you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. You're an actual writer. You
Sure.
know these characters. It's Carol Danvers all day, every day.
You know,
Exactly.
but no, it's but yeah, like Yul was saying though, it's one of those things again where it's like if it's in a Marvel book, Captain Marvel wins. If it's in a DC book, Wonder Woman wins. But they don't actually ever win because they figure out, oh, we've been being manipulated by you know some other entity, like Necron has been manipulating us in the background or some shit. And then they have to stop them together.
I don't know. Everybody's against me on this one.
And that
This
actually
is
does.
just an insult to my manhood here. Was Wes's
Oh,
pen
damn.
name
Oh, Lord.
That-
You lost the West. You lost them. Turn it on you.
Wes is 0-2 in these discussions.
Hey, you asked for the heat, you got the heat.
Basically.
My goodness, all these Johnny come latelys. They don't see what I'm
Captain
actually
Marvel
laying
is
out.
the Johnny come lately.
My goodness, Yul, when did you
Girl.
come up with all this stuff? You've been
I'm
writing these
just-
down.
No, I'm just going with it. What you're saying.
Jesus, Kenneth Dowling, Batman said it. I didn't say it was true. Karate Kid is the best martial artist in DC.
Damn right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just Karate Kid can't like outmuscle Wonder Woman.
He's not a melee
you know.
fighter. He doesn't have a mace.
It
Hawkman
doesn't
would
matter. Hawkman can't do anything against her either. That nth metal, please.
Well, no, not against Captain Marvel. Let's be real here.
No, against Wonder Woman we're talking
Ah,
about.
Hawkman would destroy Wonder
Captain
Woman.
Marvel's out of this equation for the future in this one.
All right, I can't believe I'm the only one on Captain. I'm the only one that's been reading modern comics.
I
apparently.
think Marvel. I just think that Marvel can definitely win.
Look, Marvel, very good. Captain Marvel, Carol, she can't even get her own, have her own problems. She has to get Tony Stark's drinking problem to make her a
Oh,
character.
no, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
You
that's
go
in
in and just go to
the
Mr.
very
200.
lauded, whatever that dude's name is, comics.
Because if Wonder Woman had
Carol
mind control
Danvers
powers,
And
had
her
sex
biggest
with her own child. Let's
Yeah.
not act like she hasn't been through a thing or two.
and her biggest
We have
nemesis
to ignore that, right?
is another hero.
no, we don't.
I mean that should tell you everything
That's
we
the
need to
thing.
know,
Carol Danvers is a superhero destroying machine. She will kill everybody.
except for Rogue.
Well, you know, if you're gonna power her up and she could be like the next Phoenix type thing, I'm
That was
okay
what-
as long as she just goes away.
That's what they tried to do whenever they made her like all binary. She was supposed to
Oh.
be kind of a Phoenix-like
Oh, that's right.
character.
You know what? I don't care anymore about X-Men. Are we ever gonna talk about Inferno?
We're gonna get there. Kenneth Dowling says Wonder Woman fought against the full fury power of Superman, mind controlled by Max Lord. Superman knocked Wonder Woman from space to Earth, and Wonder Woman survived. She didn't win though. Wonder Woman took Supes and killed Max Lord. Read the comics, Wes. That was Elseworld.
Yeah, but
That was
No,
Elseworld.
no,
no,
that
it
was
was.
No,
that
that
was
was
Elseworlds.
OMAC. It was
Listen,
OMAC.
we're in the Omniverse. I don't have
I
to
didn't
consider
love that.
way.
I didn't love that time period actually.
That was leading up to Countdown and all that other stuff. and 1 year
Infinite
later.
Crisis.
I like 52, but that's about it.
All right, so apparently everyone thinks I'm wrong and it's Wonder Woman. I'm not going to concede it, but I will
Allow it.
whatever. You guys, the majority wins this time, I guess.
Yeah, this is yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
That's how
Vince
it works.
McMahon.
So, let's go to Todd McFarlane saying leaving Diamond was a mistake. Now, Diamond's had some pretty impressive numbers lately. Yule, like they actually had increases as far as their sales. Not surprising when you look what's happened with Boom specifically and some of those titles at Image that really popped, especially on those number ones. You know, we saw what happened with King Spawn and whatnot, looking pretty good. And he says that it's good to have loyalty nowadays, and that not every decision is the right decision. Do you think Todd McFarlane's got a point about DC and obviously Scout going over to Lunar, and we got Marvel and IDW going over to Penguin Random House? Are they making a mistake?
He's got a point. I think it's just on the very top of his head. Screw Todd McFarlane. I don't care what he has to say. Of course, Image is saying that because they're trying to stick it out with Diamond. They're the last people that are going to be there, and they're seeing it. So don't leave. Or I guess Lisbeth. Go for it. No, I don't agree. I mean, I'm all but left Diamond. I think Diamond left us a long time ago, and they had it good, and it didn't get better, and it was only because of people like a Brian Hibbs that we got something as stores when dealing with comic companies in Diamond, and even that's just like the tip of the iceberg type stuff. And I don't hey man, you got to go where someone's making a better. It might kill comics. Everybody always says that. This could be the one. Heroes World could be the one. Image could be the one. All these people leaving. I mean, I look at it from who's gonna have comics for me to buy that people are gonna want, that I will put on my shelves, and how easy is it going to be for me to get it. And right now, Penguin Random House is beating Diamond when it comes to Marvel. Marvel's the number one company, and they let them get away. They had Marvel for a long time after DC left, and they didn't do dick. So, yeah, whatever. I just think it's Tom McFarlane saying, oh my God, IDW just left. Oh my God, Dark Horse is gonna leave. Oh my God, Boom. When Boom leaves, what's Diamond? Because Image, all those fuckers are doing Substack shit anyway. What do I care? I can just $8 and get Jonathan Hickman stuff that doesn't come out on time.
Alan Lyle says, he's back on the Wonder Woman thing. I guess that was just teasing. I wasn't trying to diss you, but on purpose.
Yeah.
What I meant by virtuous, Diana has empathy. She earned her title, and she can deflect bullets like a champ. Well, I mean, Captain Marvel doesn't use bullets.
You didn't say what Wonder Woman.
Captain Marvel just wants to brag about how angry her V is because he's just a girl.
Wow.
Is that in a comic book?
He's read a lot of Captain Marvel, or they have. I don't know.
I'm not really sure, but I don't know. Is that a real plot point, Joe? Captain Marvel's brags about how angry her V is because she's just a girl.
I don't want to know if it is.
I want to read it. If that's true, put it in the comment section. I want to read it. And
Tell me what
it
issue, what volume.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I'll do the whole storyline.
It's Captain Marvel, the angry vagina monologues.
Please let me know what issue it is so I never read it.
Well, we're going to do that on a retrospective, Joe. Do 50 minutes on that bad boy.
Holy cow. This is great.
Thank you very much to Cal Wild for supporting the channel. This was a lot of fun. I don't know. What do you think, Skip? Does Todd have a point? They're basically a big fish in the pond now. They're the number one customer Diamond Comics distributors now. It kind of, in the end, works out for them, potentially.
Yeah, like the first thing I thought was like, oh, maybe Steve Jeppy and Todd McFarlane are a little tighter than I thought that they were. Yeah, I don't know. It came out like a comment, to kind of boost up the homie. Really, like in that interest. I mean, outside of that, judging by all the other business decisions that I've seen Todd McFarlane make, and if we want to pick the Image artist exodus as one of those things, he was about controlling his destiny, more than having some entity, dictate to him how things should go. And in this particular case, that's what Diamond was at that time. They were the big entity kind of dictating to publishers and whatnot, like how distribution was going to be and how it was going to be run. And Todd McFarlane, having the strong business sense that he does, competition drives the market, and giving businesses and giving customers, basically people having options, is a strength and is an asset. So to me, it's a little like that it comes out going against his history of traditionally like good and strong entrepreneurial business decisions to make a comment like this.
Well, and it's funny because like you were saying, they did make a big deal when they struck it with Diamond, because at the time that was when Marvel split and did the Heroes world, and then there was Capital, and then there was all the other small guys, and then people started signing exclusive deals. And I assume that Image is in the middle of one right now. Or else it'd be a different story potentially. But it's funny because, like you said, he was in control of his own career when he did all that stuff, buying all the balls and everything, making action figures and stuff like that. Anything he wanted to do, he was doing it for him and his company and all that stuff. But now he's not in as much control with this situation. Diamond doesn't look like it's as important or as powerful going forward. Maybe it will be, but I don't know if it's going to be with just Image.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Diamond has to compete now. Oh no.
Is coming back. He says, I'm a Marvel stan, but I believe in general that DC characters are overpower Marvel characters, and that Marvel characters are more interesting to me. I do agree with you. Generally speaking, DC characters are more godlike as far as their power levels and do overpower Marvel characters. But in the case of Carol Danvers, is just an exception.
Yeah. She just.
And Doc says if you put her on heroin, lights out.
If she was on heroin, she might be less insufferable.
I don't know, man. I've
just kind of like this.
You haven't been around anyone on heroin lately. That shit.
Yeah, but she'd probably chill the fuck out a little bit.
Nah, that's not how it works, Doc.
At least when she's stoned.
Well, stoned and being high on heroin are different. You need to get her that medical marijuana. That'll chill her out.
There you go.
It doesn't have to be medical.
Whatever. Go to Colorado. Doesn't matter.
Or California.
Well, she's in the Air Force, so she definitely cannot do drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't
and I'm
smoke
sure
drugs.
being a member
She's
of like
still in the
Alpha
Air
Flight
Force
or whatever. No,
yeah,
not
she's
now.
a major. She got promoted.
You mean to tell me if her test came back dirty, that they would really cause an issue and kick her out of the Air Force?
My buddy,
after what she did to Captain America, maybe not.
When my buddy was stationed over in Germany, he said that they didn't do weed at all because, it sticks to you. But acid was all right. All the time, acid. Sorry,
yeah, that mushrooms. That's where you got to go. Those are your sweet spots if you don't want to fail a test.
If you don't want to fail a test, that's it.
KDI gets us back on topic. He says Todd simply doesn't want to be the last person at the party to turn the lights off at Diamond. Free shipping from Penguin Random House trumps the comeback. Yeah. Oh, is that what you're seeing, Yule? I know
£5 well spent. Let me tell you, that's right.
Because Marvel's or Diamond's going to be a wholesale for them all, so you could still go with Diamond if you wanted to. And you've looked at the terms. Obviously, you're all the way on the West Coast. And is it Penguin Random House has the superior terms?
So this is the deal. If you order a certain amount of comic books, you get a different you get a different discount tier. So normally, if you order enough Marvel, you get a 55% off. So you're making like a few cents a comic. It's so horrible. I don't know where you're supposed to make money in comics. And this is in the store level. Talk about the creators, talk about the companies. Everybody's got it going on. Anyway, free shipping and 50% off automatically. And the thing is that Diamond's discount can only like reach 45% now. So you're losing even more money. And there you go. Free shipping's awesome.
Absolutely. We got Cal Miles says, I'm still looking forward to Gunslinger Spawn. You are not the only one, sir. Please tell Just Pele I use his voice for it. Everyone should probably use Pele's voice for Gunslinger Spawn. Probably works out pretty good. But that comic's going to be dope, Jermaine. Are you going to read that one? It might be more than $4 for the first issue, though.
Dude, honestly, if it's more than $4, I ain't doing it. Tell y'all.
Dude.
I'll see you at the last day of a comic convention when I can go around for the last 2 hours and get everything for 50% off. That's when I'll get it.
Brett Booth on it.
$3.99, holding the line.
That's right, baby.
My goodness. Absolutely.
If you like Spawn, his extra priced issues are worth it because they are jam-packed full of stuff. And it's not like, bullshit. And I am not a fan of Spawn, but I mean, that's just, I like read it and I don't dig it, but I know there are people are, and this is a lot of it. So when you get like King Spawn and Spawn Universe and you're paying a little extra, just think about like how the rest of the year you're not paying that much for his book. And I think it's worth it. It's like a thank you.
Absolutely. And Skip makes a very good point. I just saw we did go over 100 likes, so thank you very much to everyone who was liked the stream. If you haven't done it yet, you want to support the channel, definitely give us a thumbs up. If you're enjoying this, let everyone else know that we're having a great conversation here. But we are about to be a man down. Doc, you have important things to do, and you're about to head out. Do you have the final things to say or comic book recommendations you want to do on your way out the door?
I recommend Inferno on my way out the door. I do still recommend ASM 74. I thought it was still good. I sort of recommend Wolverine. I do not recommend Sword this week. The art was just too terrible. And I recommend buying more back issues.
Now, if people want a custom-made jewelry-making table from Doc, how do they get a hold of you?
They can wish really, really hard, and then I will ignore them.
He'll have a quote ready after this first jewelry table.
Yeah.
On how much it would cost.
Yeah.
And then don't forget to factor in shipping.
Yeah.
And wood's expensive these days. So
yeah, it's actually much more back to reasonable.
Hey. Wood's expensive these days.
Yeah. Still up 50% from last year.
And Doc, you're going to Venom Let There Be Carnage tonight. I hope you enjoy that. And
I think so, yeah.
You get some juju fruits while you're at it.
Yep. And we'll see whether or not. I've heard a lot of really mixed recommendation. So I have no idea whether or not it's good or goddamn terrible.
You're going to love it. How about that?
All right, guys. I will talk to you later.
All right, take it easy, Doc.
Appreciate your
Stay
service,
right.
Doc.
Yep.
We'll see you next week, buddy. And I don't know. Are we done with this Todd McFarlane stuff? We got a couple more topics to hit.
We should probably.
All right, Inferno #1 came out. This is the big the swan song for Jonathan Hickman on his X-Men, his final story of all the stuff that he introduced in House of X Powers of 10, but really has only hinted at, but not really gotten to. Obviously, Skip, you used to do these videos all the time. I know you enjoyed it. What after a couple of days to think about it? What do you think about Inferno #1? Did it live up to the hype?
Not for me personally. I think the quality of the comic book was up there, kind of to encapsulate a bit of what we talked about. But if y'all want to really hear what we talked about in depth, me, Wes, and Doc covered it a few days ago. So check out that video here on the channel. But as far as my expectations and from what I've been hearing, the the collective expectations, I might even say. I don't think it personally lived up. The quality of the comic book was good, and in this day and age, people are just clamoring for quality comics, outside of just things that they love just because of the character of the creative team. So I would still highly suggest the book, especially if you're a fan of Hox and Pox and some of the key issues along the way that tied in more so to House of X and Powers of 10. But for the most part, it was a little bit too much retreading of what we had already known from the past. A little bit too little of what I think we needed more progress on regarding Director Devo, Alia Gregor. I was really interested in those two characters, even Karima, the Omega Sentinel. Like, I wanted to spend more time with them. And but we did get some progress. Even though they rehashed quite a few things regarding Destiny, Mystique, and Moira, we did finally get some progress there. So the story is moving on a little bit, but I just don't understand why we had to put it in reverse for 10 miles just to, drive 12 miles and get about 2 miles of progress. That I didn't understand.
Hey, you got me on Misty Elliott there. A little reverse.
Misdemeanor. I can't stand the rain.
So Yule's gonna have something to say about that, but he stepped out for a minute. So we'll hit this Lane Kramer super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Lane. Really appreciate it. Extreme Carnage review, and he's talking about obviously the comic book miniseries, not the movie. That's Venom that has Carnage in it as well. No point story. Art vomited on for me. Favorite character killed. Anti-Venom still stupid. Poor Flash Thompson. Philip Kennedy Johnson could not save it. All I can say is Maxim Marvel. Pun intended. Well, I'm glad I skipped that one. I do like Philip Kennedy Johnson, but that book seemed like there was no point. I know Flash Thompson returned in King in Black, and then the regular Venom series is going to have the story of Eddie Brock becoming the God, and then his son becoming the new Venom. But I don't know, that one just didn't speak to me. Did you read that one, Joe?
No.
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 Sounds like we made the right choice.
That sounds it, yeah.
Jervain, was it a $4 comic? Did you jump in on that one?
Oh, dude, if I'm gonna read Spider-Man, why would I read Extreme Carnage? But anyway.
I don't know.
Dude.
Venom's not all that related to Spider-Man anymore. He's his own thing.
I agree, though. I mean, why would you? Why do they think? Who thinks like Carnage is going to sell? I mean, who thinks that? Oh God, I have to get like an invoice out when I'm looking at things. But who thinks that's going to sell?
Tell the truth.
These companies, oh God, it's like they don't realize that they could sell all of their stuff if there was less.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, every company does this. Perch has been talking about how Image has just as many books as Marvel and DC does. DC's ramping up. Now they say that they have some paper problems because of COVID, la. And then IDW has a ton of books 1 week. And then it's just there's just too much. If we had less is more. This is a situation where less is more. But you got your overlords out there telling you what to do, and you have to have X amount of books out, I assume, is what they're saying. And we wouldn't have got Beta Ray Bill if that was the point. So.
Yep.
But see, the thing is that it is a good comic book. We know going in that it's quality and that there's going to be, some really cool things, and it's not going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for every Marvel person, just about. Mm-hmm. And that is not the case for Carnage. And I know they made a let's that's probably the reason why they had to do it, or felt that they, could, but it's not using Philip Kennedy Johnson's talent. Let's say you think he's great. Let's say you think he's bad. Either way, you're not going to see it on this book. It's just a Carnage book. And I hate when they do this. They do it all the time.
Our friends at Sigma Comics say the love for comics is clear on this panel. Support Wes, Gervais, Joe, Yule, Skipntosh, and Doc on their projects. They're dedicating their lives to the things of this thing of ours. Support them all. Thank you very much. And we definitely point that right back at you. Support Sigma Comics if you have the opportunity. Really appreciate the love and supporting the channel. Get it, Dowling. I read Inferno and I saw your review with Doc and Skip. This book makes me feel bittersweet. As good as it is, imagine if Marvel had not interfered and we got Hickman's complete vision for this story. Sad. That's kind of the way that's kind of the feeling I had coming out of this one, Joe. How'd you feel reading Inferno #1? Sorry about the water, buddy.
No. Don't worry about that.
I'll do it for you.
So, thank you. But basically, about a fourth of this issue was great. Like that last bit was really, really solid. And it was ruined by the first like 2/3 of the comic. Because I don't like when I'm reading something like something like this. It's like we've already been going through constant reiterating what's going on and constant decompressed stories. We don't need like it's like, guys, you don't have to re-explain this stuff to me. I have the other issues. If I need a refresher, let me handle that. I got that. You give me new story, I'll read the recap. Or you throw in just the quick recap, which it's like they already have a little bit that's like, here's a recap. And now
a little paragraph.
Yeah, and now here's a lot more recap. And then they did that thing that I hate. Like I hate these just these info pages.
White
They're
pages.
awful because I read it this time. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
I did too.
And then they immediately explain it in the comic pages after that. I'm like, why would you do that to me? I thought when I was reading that, I'm like, okay, this is stuff they're not going to have time to get to in this issue. But no, that's the next like 3-4 pages of the comic. They use lines directly from those pages in the words coming out of people's mouths. I was infuriated. It's like you don't do that shit. And then they do
context.
They do that little clever stuff where they're like, ooh, we're gonna block out this mission because you can't know. It worked with Hoxpox. I was still intrigued. I'm so jaded now. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't even care. I don't care. You know what? Show me that mission. I could care less. Don't bother. I don't need it.
Hickman is not going to hire you for his Substack, it sounds like.
And Marvel wouldn't have to charge $5.99 for Inferno if they hadn't wasted all the goodwill from House of X and Powers of 10. So that's all there is with that.
No, and then we get pages and pages of like, oh man, you know it was really awesome. All those fight scenes where we tried to get rid of Nimrod. No, we're not going to do any of that. There's going to be like one splash page of like Wolverine said, that's it, no action. Why would there be action in a comic book, an X-Men comic book at that? And then the little bit of action we do get is an extended scene of shit we saw during Hoxpox.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they build it up in a way where I felt like Jason Todd getting beaten to death by the Joker. I'm reading this, and then I'm like, oh, okay, you're reiterating that. Okay, we're watching Moira die again. Okay, what happens after that? We finally see Moira again, and they're having the same conversations that they were having of like, I don't know, how are we going to save the mutants? You can't save the mutants unless you defeat Nimrod and never bring Destiny back. And it's just like, it's like, obviously she shows up at the end because you do the whole scene with her again. You have a whole conversation where it's like, you know, the last thing you can do is bring Destiny back. I'm telling you, you better not bring Destiny back. And then we get this setup at the end, and it's beautifully executed. It would have been great if they didn't mention Destiny at all, and that actually got to be like like if they didn't mention her at all and they just stuck with the Nimrod stuff, and then it ends with the silhouette of Destiny coming and everyone's reactions and Destiny showing up, that would have been so wonderful. I would have been like, wow, kudos, you guys pulled it off. But instead, I've been beaten within an inch of my life, and then I see Destiny.
Now that's right, because the Joker only beat him near death. It was the explosion that killed him.
It killed him, yes.
That is true.
You said he killed. I just wanted to correct you on that.
That's fair. I'm glad I got to it. And then on top of all of that, it's like, like I don't like it when I'm reading something like this and I can think of multiple better ways to do it. Like that's one example of how to do it. You know what another example would have been? Like, throw me a curveball. You know it would have been incredible if Mystique showed up and was like, I have someone to put on the council, and it was Moira. That would have been like, oh shit! What's gonna happen now? But instead, Hickman and all of that is like, you know what we should do? We should waste people's time by telling them shit they already know. And then you dummy, you're gonna buy the next issue because the
ending was hot.
I
love that.
It's like,
and that's from an award-winning editor, y'all.
It's like don't beat me over the head with it and then give me what I'm expecting. It's almost like they got so into it that they were like, oh, well, we're going to beat them over the head with it, and then we're going to subvert expectations by not subverting expectations. It's like they were like mind gaming themselves or something. And then it's like
played 40 chess,
and it's like
the hell.
No, but I don't know, 7 out of 10.
This is pretty good. I recommend it. Kenneth says, Joe, I am here for your rant on this book. All of it. Maybe they did all of this recap because they wasted over a year of nonsense as opposed to focusing on House Facts Powers of 10 like they should have. Well, plus they did get to charge you like $6-7 for a comic book that you already read.
Yeah, I mean, and let's say people didn't read it. Wouldn't that be incentive for them to be like, oh, wow, I got to go back? Like, wouldn't that encourage sales of the previous books if they didn't fully rehash the whole thing? And for some reason, people are jumping in right now. Like they shot themselves in their foot while the foot was in their mouth by executing their story like that.
The first 20 pages should have just been them failing the mission over and over and over. And you can see how uniquely they failed it every single time. And then you get the realization like, yeah, look, we got all these skeletons from Wolverine that we've been keeping as they've been failing over and over and over. And we know something's up. It would have been like a pretty cool reveal.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely. Like that, there were so.
But I still highly recommend it. This is a good comic book, Joe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, like I said, 7 out of 10, pick it up.
Eric Canetti, welcome to the channel. And definitely, if you haven't supported Arc Athena, definitely go to Indiegogo and support Arc Athena as well as Calico #3. Joe getting super animated, and it only took Hickman BS to make it happen. Worth the $5. Absolutely. Joe doesn't go off the rails that often, so when it happens, you got to cherish it. You're like, that's what he looks like when he's super frustrated with the comic book. That's so nice. Is that on animated? Absolutely, it is. All right, Gevian, what'd you think of Inferno #1?
So, I listened to you, Doc, and I believe it was Skip discuss it, and much like the Spider-Man 74 review, I was just like, no thanks. The only question I have to that, you and Miss Ella Warren on Twitter, shout out to Ella Warren, gave you the heads up that it was about $6 on the cover price, and I was like, nah,
$7.
It's like, look, it's $7. It's like,
no,
what is this, $6, right? Yeah, look, it's like $5.99. So at the end of the day, and I'm with Joe on this one. At the end of the day, it was Skip. It sounded like they basically were writing a book as if you hadn't read anything or weren't familiar with what was going on before. And it's like, dude, after wasting, 2 years of a great setup, a great premise, not paying any of it off in any meaningful fashion, because I haven't read the X-Men books except for the main X-Men one, maybe about the issue 9. I suffered through the Golden Girls, and I wasn't going to suffer much more after that. So I jumped ship early. I wasn't going to read like every other spinoff title that came out of it. it just went from like something that was really cool in the beginning that actually I would have paid. I would have paid more. I would have paid $5.99 for Inferno if not for everything that happened in between House of X and Powers of 10, and then getting to there. But at this point but at that point they lost me, and I think they lost a lot of people. And then to even hear a YouTube video saying that the man just said 2/3 of it was just like, huh, what? Only 1/4 of it was good, so I'm paying $6 for like basically 10 pages of good comic. It's like, no, I don't. I will see you in the dollar box. It's like, I'm not doing it. I can't do this anymore. And it's like, and now my reading habits are $4 books and YouTube videos. That's basically, and waiting for a flash sale at Midtown Comics, because basically it's like they're not delivering. They're not delivering.
What if you miss an issue that way?
They don't have to miss an issue. Look, and my big problem with the whole X-Men thing was that I thought the goal of this was in a really funky way to bring the X-Men back into the mainstream MCU, and they just never delivered on that. And it was way too much bullshit. Well, but that's to me what got me intrigued was, other than just the fact that I didn't really have much of a problem with the whole resurrection thing, because to me that was like, at some point they were gonna like put a pin in that and get away from that aspect. It was like, whatever system behind that was fine. But my thing was that the way they were like basically interacting with other heroes in the very beginning in the 2 miniseries, I was like, man, this is going to be kind of cool with how the X-Men are going to kind of be like power players in the larger MCU. And then they just never paid that off. I mean, except for one limited series, which I always bring up, which is X-Men Fantastic Four. And it was like, if that had been the tone and tenor of X-Men for the last 2 years, man, cool. Throw me a $7.99 comic at that point. But you're not going to get me to come back for $6.99 after the hell you just put me through for the last 2 years. And I didn't even participate in the hell. I just knew what was going on. Right. So, yeah. No thanks.
Kenneth Dowling says, when you look at ASM 74 and Inferno #1, what Marvel are doing is absolutely redonkulous. Their editorial departments are garbage and should all be fired. I'm not taking my hero nowhere near that place. Well, I wouldn't either, man. Those guys, you just never know what they're going to do. But it's not likely to be very good. I'll tell you that, especially the X-Men line. Those guys do some crazy stuff. You are right, Kenneth Dowling. I don't know if I won't call for anyone to be fired, but if you got to do a good job to keep your job, you know what I'm saying?
They're just doing the job, I mean, guys like Brevoort are you would need a guy like him, because he's like that font of information that you don't have to look up the book. You can just there's people like that, but it seems that, and it wasn't always, everybody likes to talk all about Anna Senti and Joe Duffy, but they weren't like totally into like writing superhero comic books, Wait, Joe Duffy, right?
Yeah, Joe
Duffy. Right on that. Yeah. And I mean, I think I remember seeing like they're talking in that Claremont video about X-Men with like Wheezy and Anna Senti. They were like, they didn't want to do that, but they're professionals. They know how to do their job. And then eventually they went and did that thing, and they do their job, because they're good at it and people like it. But so it's not really horrible when we get people from outside, coming in that don't deserve their job. Hopefully they just like get better at it. Also,
Caleb Lyle says, blame B.I. Allen, whoever did the Hellfire Gal. That would be Jerry Duggan.
Yeah,
I personally blame Jordan White on all that.
Yeah, that's Jerry Duggan and Jordan White. That has nothing to do with the other people on the team.
We're doing Children of the Animal, or Children of the Animals. Children of the Animal, blame B.I. Allen for that one. Eric Canetti, question for the panel. Was Inferno fun to look at art-wise? I'm scrolling through it now, and I'm underwhelmed.
That was one of the first things.
But it wasn't great, no.
That's what I was going to say. Like the first action scene, I could feel like there was a emphasis put on that. The rest of it was sufficient, and then there were parts of it that I could see were like kind of rushed or dipped. But yeah, and then if we're thinking about this and then it being a conclusion, the art is one of the things that I feel like if the art was better, even that would have made me feel a little bit like that much more better about the story. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, I think the art is functional minus the very first action scene. I feel like that had a lot of energy. But other than that, yeah, I agree with you, Eric. Yeah, it wasn't what I expect to be it, put a pin in the goodwill that Jonathan Hickman, built that Marvel spilled.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to you guys? Is the how to draw comics the Marvel way? Am I just an old man not realizing that that's outdated, or should we have more? There's that classic scene with the cigar, and John Buscema's drawing it and everything, and he draws it a very passive way, and then the Marvel way, and it's like, wow, even in a talking scene with the dude holding a cigar, it can be exciting looking. And
yeah, because it's called dynamic
that's not
tension.
a lot of this is just kind of just the first way, passive.
Yeah.
But am I old? I mean, is that not
you are old?
anymore,
Yes.
You're
not old.
But
You're not old.
I see it. We see it in other things where you're like, that's not the way we tell stories, anymore. And that's not how we play basketball. Everybody shoots a 3 from half court now. Oh, in my day, that would have been a sin, a travesty, But maybe that's the way with art, and this Inferno is just the way it is.
All right, well, let's move on to the last topic. We got one more thing to hit. We got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We had a super chat earlier. I didn't forget about you, MG, but I wanted to bring this back because he says, Joe, take that energy from the X-Men rant and apply it to Venom 2. What a disappointment. Felt like unconnected scenes cut together. Horrible writing.
Here's the thing for me. It's not a good movie, but I had fun because it was basically like you had to look at it as it's like Jim Carrey's The Mask, but Venom, and dumb action scenes. Like it felt like similar to the first Venom movie. It felt like a pre-MCU Marvel or even regular superhero movie where the villains are dumb and make no sense, but they add they do the bare minimum to do Cletus is this troubled person, and so I had fun with Venom. Again, very dumb movie. It's it has a lot of just stupid action that makes no sense. You can't it doesn't take itself that seriously. I don't know what's going to happen if they end up rolling this in more to the other MCU stuff that takes itself more seriously. Because I mean, you just get Venom, sure, it's at night, but he's jumping around, kind of causing a lot of property damage as he's jumping across buildings and stuff. No one's calling the cops. No one's trying to stop Venom from doing this. No one seems to be noticing or aware that Venom is destroying the sides of buildings as he's just crawling around. There seems to be no actual stakes in terms of that. There's no Eddie Brock's the most wanted man in America because we saw him at this scene where Venom was ripping people apart or whatever like that. So and then they do that real dumb cliche thing where it's the last battles at a church and that whole thing, and you're just but if you look at it as a really dumb movie, you should have fun. But this is no art. This is not the French Connection or Chinatown or something like that. This isn't cinema.
Is it Starship Troopers?
Yeah. I'd probably say
Starship Troopers is a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just asking.
It's Starship Troopers with less meat to it.
See, Joe's trying to be kind because see, what had happened was is that when I saw the trailer and I saw Venom at a rave, I was expecting somebody to go ninja, go ninja, go. See, that's what it is. This was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, but maybe for adults. I don't know. It was like,
You know what?
that's what I was like. No,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 for like an older audience might actually be the best things.
right? Basically,
But
Man,
yeah,
I like-
and yeah.
Starship Troopers, where he's like, "Put your hand on that wall," and he
Oh,
puts it up there. And he
Starship Troopers is
knives
great.
it. And he goes, "A man cannot push a button if he can't use his hand." I was like, "That's great."
that's right. Clancy
I mean,
Brown was great, man.
I love Starship Troopers.
So good.
Disable his hand.
It's afraid, and then everyone's yeah. Like, it's
Great ending.
So good.
Get it. Alex says, "You mind if I interrupted this topic to ask about an actual great comic that's Superman 78 #2?" I agree with you. That was very fun. Who did the cover? Whoever did the cover should be the main artist. The art isn't bad, but the cover is way better. So the art is from Wilfredo
Torres.
and the cover is from Ben Oliver, and that is a dope cover. I'll give you that. What did you think about that cover, Yule? It was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ben Oliver. He should do more interiors, but too much of a good thing, maybe. Wilfredo Torres, though, he really captures like that. His Jimmy Olsen looks. I mean, he's kind of loose, but he does a good job in portraying those characters fully, even without using a lot of lines. I think Torres is pretty good.
I like
Probably
Wilfredo Torres. I'm a fan of Wilfredo Torres. I was actually sneaking in, reading a little bit of Bang with him and Matt Kent as we're up here on the panel. So, but
Now that is a great book that ended at issue 5 for some reason.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this bad boy up. We got Carol. While I would take a dumb fun movie than a lecture about how Carol is a woman and how to say Shang-Chi's name. Plus, the end credit scene got more excited.
Yeah, I also want to add to this that I saw this in a movie theater on like a big ass screen. Like it was and it was like a nearly empty theater. It's like me and my buddy just sitting there watching the movie, and there's maybe
Did you do one arm distance?
No,
oh, you didn't. Oh, my
but
goodness.
no, but no, like you're just hanging out watching the movie, like, oh, look at that, so like it's a different experience. Like if I saw like Venom 2 on a plane, I would be like, this sucks. But
that's where I saw Ghostbusters 2016.
Why would you be like, you know what? The only way this movie could possibly be any better is on an airplane.
I was flying to the Philippines. It's like a 13-hour flight. There's only so many movies.
You wanted it to feel longer? Like, what were you?
I was like, well, it can't be that bad, right? Joke is on me.
That's
So
the
it
best
does
joke
look
from the movie.
It does look like it's going to make a lot of money. Probably it might hit 80 million domestic this weekend, which would be a nice jolt for the box office. And it looks like it's going to be a big success. Does anyone else have something to say about Venom: Let There Be Carnage?
I still haven't seen the first one.
Me either.
It's good.
I liked this more than the first one because the first one seemed like it actually like cared and tried, and this time they were like, let's just have fun.
Bug it.
And like they don't attempt anything. Like there's bits where it's just like I'm pretty sure Venom like damaged and a lot of like police property and like injured police officers, and they're kind of like, what are you gonna do? That kind of stuff.
Go
like,
Venom.
All right, I guess. And then like, and people, it's like Venom's like hanging out at this rave, and everyone's like, they're like, oh hey, nice costume and stuff, and it's like, but he murdered people in the first movie. Is he like not wanted anymore? Or is no one after this guy?
It's been like eating people and stuff. Absolutely. All right, well, let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's get in there a couple of recommendations. Obviously, this was a big week. We had a lot of things come out. We had Inferno, we had ASM, we had Deathstroke Incorporated. Yule, what are you recommending out of the Fantastic Comics this week? Do I need to go somewhere else first?
This week was kind of weird. I think Superman 78 was probably the thing I liked the most. The thing I was most anticipating was Inferno and Amazing Spider-Man. But as far as like the indie books that are out there, or the not Marvel and DC books that are out there, I don't really read them. The ones that came out this week. I know Something Killed, or whatever, the
Something
children.
is killing the children. 20.
Yeah, that's that one came out, and I know people really like that. But as far as me, that and Thor, those were pretty much the books that I got. And I thought Thor was okay, although I know I could, like, if I was the kind of guy to make videos of that style, maybe Wes can take it. I know people would be pretty upset. But overall, I still thought it was a pretty good issue.
All right, well, I haven't read Thor yet. Maybe that's one of my Monday videos.
Boom.
Perhaps. Callum Lyle says the movie wasn't woke. Well, that always helps. If you don't want the woke movie, you go to the Venom Let There Be Carnage.
But I was awake the whole time.
You were awake, but you weren't woke, Joe. Is that what it is? I don't know. All right, Skip. Yeah. What do you recommended this week, buddy?
I realized I did it wrong last week, or last time I was here, so I want to just touch on.
There's no wrong way, Skip.
Well, I appreciate you.
There's also no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
No.
This is a known fact, Joe. This is a known fact.
It's well documented.
Well documented, and always worth reminding people about.
Yes.
Vinyl number 4, I really enjoyed from the previous week. This week, I've been continuing to enjoy Good Asian. That was a good one. I actually didn't get to Superman 78 number 2 yet, so I'm looking forward to that.
You're gonna love it, man. It's good.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm actually, as soon as we're done here, that one I'm gonna go and go pick up, because I didn't pick that one up yet. And then the trade paperback for Haha came out, so of course I have to mention that one, because W. Maxwell Prince is just like right above Jonathan Hickman now for me for favorite modern day comic writers. So yeah, that happened. And even though it didn't come out this week, I'm still going to mention it just because there's a whole fun journey behind trying to get it. I had Passive from Bad Idea, written by Matt Kent, art by David Lapham. And finally, I was able to get my hands on the other part of the story, which is Passive Aggressive by the same creative team. And that was easily my pick of the week. That was incredible to see both sides of the story, how they overlapped, how fun they were. Bad Idea Comics just continues to just put out
Matt Kent
books
is a gem, and nobody really realizes how great he is.
A gem. So now I'm going back and I'm like grabbing all of his like Dark Horse stuff as much as I can and catching up. And apparently Department H got a show, so another book from Matt Kent. So I'm gonna start trying to catch up on that before the Department H show comes out.
All right.
Well,
yeah,
speaking of Matt Kent, Infamy or Death is recommending him in Berserker. He says, I recommend Barbarella Echoland's Berserker. Obviously, that's Matt Kent. And Ron Gardy, one of my favorite artists, in Spawn this week. A load of comics are late, still waiting on Backstar. That sucks. And a bunch of other stuff. That sucks. Hopefully you get them soon. And Joe has put the lead pipe lock. He's guaranteed that you're going to love Backstar number 5.
Wow.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was decent. Yeah. I already said Backstar in the beginning of the episode, this episode, people. So that's the reason why I didn't say it.
Yeah,
Kenneth Dowling says, I skimmed through Berserker number 5. Is anyone still reading that series? I am still reading that series.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I do think they went to the Stone Age a little bit too long, but it's still quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
The only recent Matt Kent book that I didn't like, I bought number 1 and I was like, I can't get into this.
Oh man. Well, I mean, it wasn't deep, that first issue, but
nope.
It sure
well,
was
it's not his idea.
violent.
It's Keanu Reeves' idea that he's executing for him.
Yeah.
So. And Kenneth Dowling also says, recommend Superman 78 number 2. You're absolutely correct. Makes me want to read more Venditti work. You contact me, sir, and I will get you the best Venditti stuff you can imagine. Take care, gentlemen. As always, you are all the best. Peace. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the support of the channel.
Thanks, Kenneth Dowling. Hank Howard, Pizza Detective. I love that Venditti book. That's great.
Callum Lyle says, I take it that comics like Lady Death aren't your taste, but if you want something sexy and you just see a hot woman killing demons, I'd recommend it. I'm all about sexy. I ooze sexy, Callum Lyle. Look at me.
Yeah, that's why he was like talking up Carol Danvers so much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I love sexy.
Sexiest comic book commentary host on the web. Wes at Thinking Critical.
I'll take it. I ain't gonna deny it. Oh my goodness. Who else do we have? Have you made a recommendation yet, Joe?
No. A lot of the things I was going to recommend have been brought up, like Good Agent number 5. Definitely have been enjoying that. By the Horns number 5. That was supposed to come out in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it was this past week or the week after. I'm hitting up shops this weekend to check on all that. But By the Horns has been a really solid book. Trying to think, geez. There's some other stuff that's been coming out I've been enjoying that didn't necessarily come out this past week, like Not All Robots and what's the other one? But in terms of like back issues and collections and stuff like that, I finally got the Absolute Fourth World Volume 1.
Oh,
and this thing that's got the cutout, so you still get the dark side
that's
face
awesome
in there. And I highly recommend, like, this is just the definitive way to read this stuff. I mean, it's gorgeous and gigantic. So like, if you can find a copy of this, the second volume comes out before Christmas. So I finally had to bite the bullet and be like, let me get this now. I'll get the second volume that has the whole thing, and it'll look real nice. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I can get it. I can get it with all the money I'm saving by not buying $5 comics. So I'm there.
There you go.
All right, Gevian, I got a question for you. I see you're wearing a Polk High jersey. Did you go to Polk High, or are you celebrating Al Bundy as the hero that he really is?
I celebrate Al Bundy every chance I get, baby. It's like, it's either this or no, ma'am. If I could join no, ma'am, in real life, I would. My wife may have a problem with it, but that's okay.
Were you recommending anything this week?
Oh yeah, well for me, yeah, Berserker number 5 definitely. But I agree with you. I think they need to kind of get to the point now. They're spending a little bit too long in the prehistoric era. But I've been enjoying John Wick as Secret Agent up until this point. Even though I'm not a big fan of decompressed storytelling, for something that's killing the children, it works. So I would recommend that number 20.
Yeah.
Transformers Shattered Glass, number 2, just because I like Transformers and I like parallel universes. And if you like Neil Gaiman, if you like P. Craig Russell, Norse mythology, for me, that's been really enjoyable. The stories, it's not for everybody. The pacing, but I think for what it does it really well. And actually, because I really like the artist of, I guess you say his name, Fico Asio, Mr. Miracle Source of Freedom, especially now that we've kind of established that Shiloh, this is either an alternate universe version of him or a younger version of him that's a little bit more Public Enemy than Sidekick. The art's great on it, and I think at this point now they're doing something real interesting with exploring the fact that Mr. Miracle may be multiversal as well as a great escape artist. So those, and just, I know it's already been done, but if you have not picked it up, go get Better Ray Bill. That's probably one of the most creative books in terms of marrying words and pictures that I've seen in a long time. So highly recommend Better Ray Bill if you haven't picked it up yet.
Absolutely. And as Skip says, on your way out, if you give us a thumbs up, we definitely appreciate that. Let everyone know we had a great show here today. Batman Superman 22. I didn't really like this series, but this one shot with Calendar Man and Mr. Mxyzptlk is phenomenal. If you like Silver Age DC comics, like, this is like highest recommended kind of stuff. It's borderline 5-star. The art in it spectacular, and it's just really wonderful comic book to read. I'll also highly recommend Robin number 6 from Joshua Williamson and Gleb Melnikov. We're into the Lazarus tournament. We've got characters dying left and right as Damian Wayne has to solve the mystery of Mother's soul in the Book of Lazarus. Book of Lazarus. So that was been really good. But Batman Superman 22, it's a one shot. I guarantee you'll love it if you love Silver Age DC. And that is the show, everybody. I want to say thank you very much to everyone for showing up. I had a great panel. Thanks to Yule, Skip, Gervain, Joe, and Doc as well, who had to dip out a little bit earlier. And Callum, did you see the teaser for Sandman on Netflix? No, I didn't see it. Did anyone see it? Is it good?
Yeah. I mean, so I don't really watch trailers too often.
Yeah.
Because, but the very beginning is a seance where they're talking about capturing death, and I turned it off, and I was like, all right, I'm down.
So you watched the first 15 seconds of the trailer and cut her off?
Yeah. Well, it was on Twitter or something,
Yeah.
so you scroll past it, and I'm like, all right, you just stand on it for a second, and then you flip past, and I didn't even put the audio on. It had subtitles. Wonderful. I didn't even have to pay too close attention, and I was like, oh, death. All right, good. They got that part right. Way to go.
Sounds exciting. Thank you to Callum Lyle, Kenneth Dowling, Lane Kramer, guys from Sigma Comics, and everyone else that supported the channel. We'll see you next week right here on the Comics Aficionados.